Welcome to Nimmin Live, the #1 place on the internet to learn about YouTube, network with other content creators, and have an awesome time doing it. My name is Nick, and today we are answering your YouTube questions. So if you have a question about anything it is that you're doing on YouTube, you are in the right place. But when I say we, I mean myself and my brother from the same mother, D. D, how's it going?
I'm stoked to be here.
Good?
Same? Can't wait to get into YouTube questions. Happy Saturday, everybody.
Yep, hope everybody's doing fantastic.
Hope
you had a great week. Hope everything's just awesome.
I had a fantastic
Sunshine and rainbows and butterflies everywhere.
It's going to be one of those streams.
Yep.
That's how it's going to be.
Yep. So I hope everybody's doing great. So if this is your first time here, what we do here is we answer YouTube questions. So there is a form that is down in the description, and I'm in the process of adding a link to that form as well right here. So that you can go ahead and get your questions into the form here. And basically, if you are watching this on somewhere that is not YouTube, if you're watching this somewhere else, you can go to nicknimmin.com/ask, and it will forward you to the place that we're taking the questions from.
And by somewhere else, he means you watching from LinkedIn or X. What should we call it? Twitter. We're not gonna participate in calling it X.
Yep.
Sorry, Elon.
Yep.
Do we have any YouTube news today?
Give me one moment.
Okay. That means we have
here.
YouTube news.
Yep.
While I'm waiting for the YouTube. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I insist.
No, I insist. While you're waiting on YouTube news, what?
Oh, we're just going to let people know that we do have some AI news, which I think is good news. Google's Synth ID, which is essentially, to simplify it, it's like Content ID for AI-created content, where they will tag AI-generated content, and they can identify AI-generated content. They are now going to start implementing Google Synth ID into several of the large AI platforms that are generating content. So soon we'll be at the stage, as long as more and more companies participate, we'll be at the stage to where we'll be able to easily identify AI generated content, because it's getting too good.
Yeah,
I'm getting fooled almost daily. I feel like I don't know if AI is getting really good or if I've just aged out and I'm the old man sitting in the recliner now. Right? Just
what do you mean?
Just, the old people getting scammed by people calling them, giving the credit card. Like that.
That's what you mean by getting fooled?
No, I'm not giving out my credit card numbers to people that are calling me. I just mean like, I don't know if I've aged out and I'm just falling for everything now, or if AI has just gotten that good.
He's like, sure, I'll give you my credit card number. What do you need? What's this for?
Right. So when you get a call from me.
So my number's 0532-0764. What did you need this for?
Yeah. Right. So if you get a call from me and I'm like, yeah, man, somebody just wiped out my bank account. I gave them all of my login information. They said it was critical, and now all my money's gone.
Right.
You'll know that I've aged out completely.
So a couple things. First, I do want to let you know that this stream is brought to you by Opus Clip. Opus Clip is the clipping tool that will help you get the most out of your content. When it comes to Opus Clip, they have all kinds of really cool things. So the very first that I want to tell you about is they have a tool where you can put in your long form content, and it'll make a bunch of vertical clips for you, or mid form clips up to 15 minutes long that you can post all over social media. You can use it as a way to supplement YouTube uploads. If you're not publishing shorts but you want to, great way to be able to do that efficiently. If you want to create additional social accounts, which is what a lot of people are doing with this, then you can also use it to also get more distribution that way. Another awesome tool that they have is they have something called Agent Opus. Agent Opus is awesome. It's basically where you can put in a prompt. You can upload audio files into it. You can give it style references. You can just prompt it all out in order to get the reference that you want, and it will make B-roll for you, which is also really cool. So people are using it to make full videos, but you can also use it as a way to make B-roll for your videos, and the results that are coming out of it are really awesome. But for both of those things, you can find both of them if you go to opusclip.com, or if you want to hook me up with an affiliate, you can go to tryopusnow.com, and it will send you to the same place. But check out both of those tools, because they are both absolutely amazing and can help you with your workflow and help you just get more content out there faster.
I'll take your word for it.
Yep, please do.
I will trust you on this one.
Please do. Please do.
I will.
Yep. So
speaking of scams, there's a woman on TikTok that will play pranks on the people that call her. Have you seen her? And she does accents really well. So they'll call and they'll be like, "Hello, yeah, trying to get her address." She'll be like, "Yes, I have a dress." Well, you want me to wear the dress? And then the guys always, they're usually like Indian call centers or something, and they always end up screaming at them.
Oh, nice.
And she just like pushes them and pushes them and misinterprets everything they say. It's really funny.
Yeah, absolutely
really
love it.
Yeah.
Chantel, what's going on? Hope you're doing great. Doug, nice to see you in here. My man, hope you're doing great. Monique, happy for you to be here. Jennifer, hope everything is going well on your end. Hope you're seeing some light at the end of the tunnel there. Larry, hope that you are doing great. Nice to see you in here as well. Hope everybody's doing awesome.
This is a
Salon Guy, what's up, man? Hope you are also doing great.
This is actually a good question out of the gate. I'm just going to highlight this. It says, my audience hates it when I use AI on YouTube. Does AI just never work for some channels?
Well, I think it depends on what it is that you are, providing. So if you are making thumbnails and they have that obvious AI look to them to where...
Or videos.
Yeah, or videos to where it just has that really obvious look to where it's trying to be real, but it's obviously not real, that kind of thing. I know that some people are anti that. But I think if you spend the time to get your prompts right, get the output right, things like that, then, in a lot of cases, you can make something that looks real, and unless you let people know, at least in thumbnails, it's good enough to where when people see it, they won't know that it's AI. Which I think that we're at a really awesome moment in time with this for that reason, because I think we've crossed that threshold to where, if you know how to prompt right, the tools to use, that it allows you to make things that look real now, which is why we're going to talk about some of the news that we have here in just a moment as well around some of this stuff. But the place that we're at now with the technology is we're getting to where if you're using the right tools and using the right prompts, then it's going to be pretty difficult for people to tell. So because of that, I wouldn't worry about it too much. But one thing that I do want to say is if you are getting that blowback on your thumbnails, there's a tool called 1 of 10. I'm actually just going to look at your channel right now. There's a tool called 1of10.com. Really awesome for making YouTube thumbnails. It actually looks at your channel, pulls in the character, which is you, from the channel, and it makes the thumbnails that way. And the output on those is really great. It looks like you might already be using something similar here with this.
Salon Guy says it's for the content. Here's the thing. If you are using AI to make content, and like Nick said, we're at the point now where you can make it look real. If your audience is identifying that it was made with AI, they're probably going to push back on it. But if you're creating something that looks so realistic, and you can absolutely do that with video now and with photography. If it looks realistic and it's put together well, your audience probably isn't going to know. So my guess is if you're getting a lot of pushback, you're not making something, and again, I haven't looked at your video, you might be making amazing stuff, but there's a good chance that what you're making has that AI feel to it. And that's what you want to try to figure out how to get around.
Yeah, it looks like right now, it looks like I'm looking at your latest video, and it looks like, it's still you, on camera doing the thing. So it looks like in the content you're fine. But your thumbnails, yeah, they definitely, some of them have the AI vibe going on. So, it is clear to me, just because I, look at this stuff every day, all day. So it's clear to me that,
you might be using an avatar.
Oh, it might be. But yeah, it's I can definitely tell that you are, using it with some of these. And in terms of, the audience expecting it to be you. So when it comes to people expecting it to be you, that's good for your, immediate subscribers. But even in that case, like in the past, I know that you have videos on your channel that have done great to where, it's the head on a thing to where you can't even see you, right? It's like a mannequin head with hair on it, and then you're showcasing that. So, people respond to that as well when you're not even in it. So, that shows you that you don't have to be in it for people to respond to it. But I do get what you mean in terms of that initial time of publish, YouTube showing it to subscribers, and maybe some of them are like, I don't know. This looks kind of AI to me. I'm not gonna trust it. So so there's definitely that sort of thing. But other things too, like little details, like for example, like on the latest thumbnail, how like your mouth is open. I would definitely have it when you're using the tools to make these, to where it's like, okay, let's do a version to where I look kind of surprised like this, and then I have a version where I don't look surprised, and let me A/B test them against each other to see if people have a preference there, and if that's the thing that's turning people away, or is it the fact that it's an AI thumbnail, right? So I would look into it more that way. But I think we are in a really cool spot though, with all of this stuff getting to the point to where we're getting to that point to where that line is getting really blurry. I'm like, is this AI
I
or
mean,
is this not?
This leads us into what I just said about the Google Synth ID, and they're going to start tagging more AI generated content, and this leads us into the news, to where YouTube is going to start adding disclosures.
Yeah.
So go ahead and
YouTube creator news starts now.
So when it comes to YouTube creator news, YouTube is expanding the AI search experience to TVs. So if you haven't seen it yet, they already have this on the desktop versions. And basically what it is when you are searching for something on YouTube, then it gives you a different search experience. And they are rolling this out to test users on TVs also. So because of that, just search and how search works on YouTube is definitely changing. In addition to that, they are putting disclosure labels for AI under the players on long form content and over the video on shorts. This is to make it more visible. And, this little disclosure where they have the little AI icon, previously it wasn't something that was obvious, but now because things are getting so real, they have to make it to where, it is obvious.
That's where we're at.
And as a part of this, YouTube is also going to start auto-detecting photorealistic AI and labeling the videos if it detects that they are AI. Now, when it comes to the Synth ID thing, I'm guessing this is where a lot of that is going to be pulled in, what Dee was just talking about. Because with that Synth ID, what that is like all these different AI services. They are adding something to the generations that are made to where all of these different systems are going to be able to pick them up, and they're going to know like what service made them and all of that. And it's also going to prove that it's AI generated and those sorts of things. So I'm guessing all of this is getting, tied in through that Google Synth ID for these types of cases to where they're going to be able to, identify, that it was fully AI generated. And really, this is a bigger issue. If you're making like cartoons, things like that, not that big of a deal, or animations. But when you are doing, full-blown AI content and it's photorealistic, that's where, these things are becoming more important. But they also mentioned as a part of this, that if your videos do, because as soon as we ran across this, we were like, oh no, like now this is going to be another thing to where it's going to get, it's going to be throwing errors, kind of like the copyright system does sometimes, and other, systems that they have. So because of that, this is one more thing to worry about. However, if it mislabels them, you are going to be able to update the status yourself. So if their system goes through, it mislabels everything, and you're like, hey, wait, why is this showing up on my videos? They're not AI. I don't have any AI in here at all. Then you're going to be able to go in and manually change what their system automatically turned on. So just be mindful of that if you do see that show up on your videos, that you are able to go into your channel and actually, fix that label if the content is an AI generated. In addition to that, Ask Studio conversations are now going to be saved for 30 days. So if you're having conversations with Ask Studio and you're asking it things about, your stats and your channel and all that, and it's giving you answers, sometimes you might want to go back and reference those because, it told you something and you're like, oh yeah, didn't think about that. And then you go on about your life and then you think about it later and you're like, oh yeah, I can't remember exactly what it said because now I'm working on this video, whatever the thing is. Then in that case, they're going to be storing those conversations for 30 days and then you can revisit them if you need to. Now, as a part of this, you are going to be able to select them and delete them, if you don't want them stored for 30 days. But they are making that area more customizable for you so that you are going to be able to, just kind of control, how things are being saved and all of that, which is cool. In addition to that, Nano Banana has been added to the effect maker inside of Shorts. So if you are using that feature, it just got more fun, and now you are able to generate things from Nano Banana from that. And that's the news.
That would be the news. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting that YouTube is doing that with the disclosure, and I think it's good. It's good that they're adding those disclosures because, like I said, I'm falling for stuff. I'm falling for stuff, and there's some stuff coming out that's so good unless you're pixel peeping and you're really paying attention. Yeah. And I noticed that it's happening more with Shorts and over on TikTok and even on Instagram because you're on your phone and you're not so easily able to pixel peep when it's small like that. So you don't notice any the little defects. So it's good. I'm glad YouTube is on top of this.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, because it should be marked. I'm not against AI artists. AI creators. I think they have a place, but people should know when something's generated with AI.
Right. I agree.
Yeah.
Especially if it's something that can be misleading.
Right.
Right. To where it's like, oh, this thing looks like it happened, or this place looks this way, but it's not really that way.
Right.
You know, real easy to mislead people. Like if you're making travel plans, for example, and some creator didn't even go to the place, but they generated a bunch of footage of that place and they do a voiceover like, yeah, I went here and I did this and I did this. And then you show up and it's not that place.
Yeah.
Right. So, you know, you have those types of problems that you have to, you know, be careful about as well.
Go YouTube.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good moves all the way around there. And go ahead.
What I do worry about though is because you know it's coming. You're going to see it on Reddit. You're going to see it on Twitter, where it's like YouTube marked all my original content as AI, and then I got demonetized.
Yep.
Or something like that.
Right.
And
it's coming. It's coming.
I can't get a human to look at my content, or a human actually looked at it and they still think it's AI.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Oh.
Berto Blake in the house.
Hey.
Lord of YouTube, Roberto Blake.
The Sith Lord of YouTube, the one and only. Okay, so now we are going to get into YouTube questions. So if this is your first time here, I do want to let you know what we do here is we answer questions about YouTube. We look at YouTube channels. We give channel feedback. Basically, YouTube is challenging, and we are here to make it easier for you. So because of that, if you have questions about anything that you're doing, if you want feedback on your thumbnails, titles, that kind of stuff, there is a link pinned at the bottom of the chat right now, or the top of the chat, depending on the view that you have. And if you click on that link, it's going to take you to a form, and it just asks you some questions about what you're trying to do with the channel, you know, what's your channel link, things like that, so we can pull it up. You just fill that out. It's completely free to do, and then we will get your question answered on the stream today, or get you that feedback that you need here during the stream today. So go ahead and do that now. If you are on the fence, like, hey, I wonder if they'll answer my question, because we will.
Yeah, we will.
So the very first question that we have today is from Shy How To. Shy How To uploads when they have time. They've been on YouTube for a year or more. They have a faceless how-to channel. Goal of the channel is to make money, and they do mainly shorts. And they say, what can I do to make my channel better and get more subscribers and watch time? So let me take a quick look at what it is that you're doing. Yeah, if you're trying to get more watch time, then in that case, I would make, you know, long form content if you're going for watch time. Okay. So right out of the gate, and I'll go ahead and pull this up here as well. So right out of the gate, the very first thing that you should start doing is using custom thumbnails, because right now you are not. So I would definitely make sure that you are using custom thumbnails, and the reason for that is these are showing up all over the place, and you just want to make sure it's easy and focused for people to know what's going on, you know, when it comes to the content, so they can choose to click on it or not, or at least so it will grab their attention and then cause them to look at the title and then hopefully come into the video from there. But yeah, definitely you need to start using custom thumbnails. Also, you don't need to put hashtags in your titles. That's not going to do anything for you, so you don't need to do any of that. And avoiding speeding tickets, turn this on in the Kio Nero feature. You know, that's okay. I think the value proposition of what you're offering there is fine. But when it comes to long form content, I would do longer videos. If you're going to do something short like this, then I would just put it over in YouTube Shorts instead. But yeah, for this content, you know, if you're trying to get watch time, then first I would make sure that you are, you know, just making content about things that other people will find valuable, which you are, you know, here with some of this. And then I would make sure that you're, you know, putting in the effort in terms of, you know, making sure that you're, you know, adding some custom thumbnails to it, that you're taking the time, you know, to write out the titles, that you're not polluting the titles with hashtags and that sort of thing. So right now, for where your channel is, like, I would focus on those things. Another thing too is I would just really start thinking about, you know, like, okay, if I'm trying to build a channel and you're trying to get monetized, you know, like, what is it that you want to offer? What is it you want to be known for? You know, because it looks like a lot of this is about your car, which is perfectly fine. And then you have one video in here about how to tell if your money is real or fake. So I would just start also getting clear on what it is that you're actually trying to do with the channel, right? Because make money is one thing, but like, what is it that you're offering to people that you're going to essentially give in value in exchange for that money that you're trying to get off of YouTube, right? That's the thing that you want to be thinking about. And you want to think about, like, what do I want to get, you know, this channel known for? You know, if I'm trying to make money, how exactly am I making money? Because right now, with what it is that you're doing, you are, you know, pretty much stuck to ad revenue. So because of that, if you're trying to make money from YouTube, it's best practice to make sure that you are looking in and trying to figure out, like, okay, if I'm trying to make money, is the content that I'm making fit for me to be able to generate money from this through ad revenue and through additional, sources off platform from YouTube as well. Ron, Trains and Things, what's going on? Hope you are doing great. Yeah, I'm experimenting with the ad thing right now. So it's on the minimal version for the ads. So I turned that on just out of, curiosity. So I know I did it last week too. And on last week's, I only had one person say something about it. So yeah, I'm just kind of seeing, kind of catching the vibe on, if anybody says anything about it or not. So next up on our list here, we have Carlos X360. And as a reminder, if you do have questions, make sure that you do get them down into the form that's in the description. Every now and then we'll pull them from the chat, but to keep everything organized and to make it all fair and all of that, we do them in the order that they come in the form that we are pulling them from here. But Carlos X360 is the next channel. And Carlos uploads when they have time. They do video game content. Goal of the channel is to connect with others who like what they like. And the question is, there are dips sometimes in uploads when I thought the video would do well. Like, what's going on here? Where the two Sonic Hedgehog stages in Shinobi. Colors are supposed to stop people. And the thing is, watch what happens from the receding videos. I'm getting a little trust back, but YouTube shouldn't be recommending my other videos. The recent videos were a surprise to see an uptick, but the two Sonic nostalgic videos are confusing for me. I could put Dr. Robotnik in the title, but I was trying to hit people with a clever title since it's literally names of levels. Destroy is the name of a location inside of a map, and Eggman.exe is a follow-up name. Weird. So I'm trying to figure out the question that you have here. Yeah, because I don't see an actual question as a part of this outside of, you just mentioning that there's, dips. So when it comes to YouTube, there are absolutely, dips. There's ebbs and flows, is the, is the thing there. And, that happens because, we publish content. Sometimes we nail it. Sometimes we don't nail it. Sometimes, people's interests change over time, and the things that we used to do, they don't work the same way for the same audience. Sometimes competition comes in and they make it harder to compete. Those sorts of things happen. So because of that, there are definitely ebbs and flows when it comes to YouTube. In your case specifically, because I have your channel pulled up here, you are taking thumbnails. It looks like with like a selfie camera with like a TV in the background. And some of the, like on the TV in the background, the words are actually backwards, so you can't read what they say. So because of that, if you're going to be using that, I would at least flip the thumbnails around so that you can read the text from the outside. But really, I would go through the process of learning how to make custom thumbnails. It's like 90-something% of the channels on YouTube, the biggest channels on YouTube, they are highest viewed videos on YouTube. Long form videos use custom thumbnails. So I would definitely consider making custom thumbnails. Next up on our list, ooh, looks like we have a little error happening here. There we go. Next up on the list here, we have Vlogs with Jake. Vlogs with Jake uploads when they have time. Been on YouTube for less than 6 months. The type of channel is any video kind because I don't have ideas. Goal of the channel is to teach others, and they want thumbnail advice. Okay. So let's take a look at the channel and just see what it is that you are doing. And then while that's pulling up, I'm going to hop into the chat here real quick. Growing to Live, what's going on? Welcome to the chat. Hope you're doing great. Scale Train Station, what is up? That's right. Clarity is definitely better than clever. Always. Anytime that conversation comes up, I always think about Fight Club. And Edward Norton is talking to Brad Pitt, and he says something about, he thought it was clever or whatever, and Brad Pitt's like, oh yeah, being clever, how's that working out for you? Because his life, he wasn't happy with his life and like all that stuff. Yeah, I just always think about that. But let's take a look at what it is that you are doing here on this channel. And let me take this off as well. That's okay. We'll leave it on there. Yeah, we'll take it off for now. So, oh, is this in another language? Yeah, I'm not sure about this one. But let's look at these other ones. Oh, okay, you're just getting started. Yeah, so I wouldn't even worry about the ebbs and flows right now. Like I would just focus on figuring out like, okay, we're going to talk about something other than your thumbnails. So the thing you wanted me to look at is your thumbnails. You're focusing on game imagery, so you're heading in the right direction with your thumbnails. But I want to talk to you about something that's a bigger issue with what it is that you are doing. So when it comes to YouTube, and again, you're just getting started, so it's important to make sure that you are considering these things. But right now, you have your very first video that you did 2 months ago. I think I remember you from this video, actually. But you have this video where you're talking about your first video. That's fine. And then you have You Choose My Next Video, right, where you're trying to get other people to come up with your ideas for you. Then here you have Making My First Sandwich. This is how it happened. And then Cleaning Day at Church. And then up here, you're doing like video game content. It's important to make sure that you are considering who you're making content for and what you're trying to do. Just like the other channel that we pulled up first, how, that channel, there wasn't any like real clarity. There wasn't really anything, in terms of like what they're trying to do with the channel. You're in a similar boat. It's like you're making videos for the sake of making videos, but there's no intention behind the direction that you're trying to, to move the channel in terms of like, okay, I'm going to make this gaming video, and then the people that watch this gaming video will also love all of the other videos on my channel, right? Because you have like vlogs mixed in here, you have, like making your first sandwich, gaming, that kind of stuff. And this is really common when people start YouTube channels, right? So you're not doing anything that's weird there, or you're not like doing something like wrong in terms of, like nobody else does this. Like a lot of people do this when they start YouTube channels. But if you want to get the best results, figure out the thing that you enjoy the most, and then build your channel around that, right? Figure out the goal, the thing that you're trying to accomplish, and then figure out like, okay, for this thing I'm trying to accomplish, out of the things that I'm interested in, what is it that I really enjoy the most, and then start making content around that so that you can start building the channel up for something instead of just a bunch of random content. Then the big goal is that you want to turn the channel into something that is a resource for people that like that type of content that you are going to be publishing. Most content creators, I won't say most, but I would say a lot of content creators, they want everything to be about them on their YouTube channel, and that's fine. You can get there, but at the end of the day, it's still always about the viewer. But when it comes to it being about you and just uploading stuff that, that you enjoy, if you're just doing it for fun, perfectly fine. But if you are trying to, like, hey, I'm trying to, put this channel on the map, then in that case, you want to dial things in and think, okay, what is it that I'm going to offer? What is it I'm going to be known for? When somebody tells somebody else about my channel, what are they going to say? Right? So like in your case, if somebody were to recommend your channel to somebody else, like there isn't really anything to say. It's just that, hey, I watched this video of this guy making a sandwich on YouTube, right? Like instead of, this guy has, an entire channel of his first, cooking things. And, he takes people through, figuring out how to cook everything for the first time, right? There's real value attached to that. But somebody that is uploading gaming videos, publishing a video about making their first sandwich, that doesn't, there's no real connection there between the videos, right? So that's the type of thing that you want to make sure that you're figuring out. Stanley Orchard, what's up, dude? Hope you are doing great. Hope you're doing amazing, fantastic, wonderful, all of those things. I agree. Ryan Malcolm says that making thumbnails should be fun because it represents your work. Yeah, I agree with you, Ryan. And I think that with that, I think there's different versions of it, right? Like, for example, because I'm using 1 of 10 for some stuff for my, like my latest thumbnail is a 1 of 10 thumbnail. And then I took it, 1 of 10 outputted. And then to make it mine, instead of it being 100% AI generated, I also dropped it into Photoshop. And, the only thing that I used that was from that was I used myself and the big play button that I'm holding. And then, everything else I, built, around that, around that character. So, it's great for that sort of thing of being able to take those elements and then, kind of build them into your own, work. But with that said, I've been using Photoshop since it pretty much since it came out. And because of that, I know how to do all that stuff. But for people that are getting started with this and they've never used Photoshop, they've never used TubeSpanner, they've never used Canva, they've never used like any of these tools, in that case, like AI thumbnails is a great solution for a lot of people because they just don't know how. Like from a technical standpoint, they don't know how to get a really good photo for a thumbnail, or they know how to get the photo, but they don't know how to make it look good for the thumbnail, to where, you know, it's just nice and, you know, just rich looking, stands out, and, you know, all of that. Like they don't, you know, they just don't know how to do it. And AI fills that skill gap so that you can, you know, drop your, you know, your idea into one of 10, and it will, you know, spit out something, or it'll give you, you know, 4 different ideas, and you can just keep regenerating. But it just gives you, you know, a handful of ideas to where you can be like, oh yeah, you know what, I like this one here, and since I don't know how to make thumbnails, I'm going to do this one because it helps me focus, you know, the attention on whatever the thing is that I'm trying to bring attention to in that thumbnail compared to the other ones that are there. But what's interesting though, Ryan, also is that when it comes to, you know, some of this stuff, also experimenting. Like it's interesting when you publish a video and you do an A/B test and an AI thumbnail like beats your thumbnail, right? Like that's also interesting when those types of things happen too. So next up we have, I think we just did we just do vlogs with Jake? Yeah, we did. But yeah, Jake, just to kind of recap it and bring it back around to you. Yeah, so in your case, I would actually focus on like the bigger thing, which is instead of just the thumbnails, because you're heading in the right direction there. You know, they need work, but you're heading in the right direction. But what I would focus in your case is figuring out like what niche that you are operating in. And then just making sure that every video that you publish on the channel is a perfect fit for those people that you're trying to serve in that niche. Ken Going in the Kitchen uses Adobe Express for their thumbnails. Yeah, Adobe makes really good products. Some people don't like them because they do some shady stuff when it comes to, you know, billing and, you know, having these like cancellation fees and, you know, that sort of thing. So, you know, some people don't like them because of that. But in terms of, you know, awesome products, like they make great products. Like for me, I'm in Photoshop almost every day, if not every day. Even on days off, like I'm in Photoshop doing something. Adobe Premiere, love Adobe Premiere. The Adobe Enhance tool, to where it takes your voice and takes it, you know, from sounding like canny and just not very like full, and then it turns it into something that you can like really, you know, it just sounds great, you know, right out of there, as long as you don't, you know, overdo it. Yeah, I love those tools, and Adobe Audition as well. So the Angel Denise is the next channel here. Angel uploads 1 time per week or more. She has a beauty channel. The goal of the channel is to be a full-time content creator. And the question is, for my last upload, I would have expected better performance. How should I have optimized it better for discovery? So let me take a look at what it is that you are doing, Angel. Okay, so here's something that I would A/B test right now is, well, no, you do have, you know, I was looking at this one right here, but yeah, so you do have, you know, like a before and after, you know, step to step, that's fine. One thing that I would do also, I mean, really, you know, you expected this last video to do better, but it is beating out pretty much everything except for this one, but this one's been on for like a month already, right? So a couple things. I would A/B test the step-by-step against just a line going down the middle with you on one side and you know, centered, you know, between the line and the edge. You know, to where it's the same exact thing, but without the step-by-step and the arrow. I would just experiment with that and see if, you know, people responded to that one. Here you have finally a matte foundation routine that actually lasts. You know, I think this is okay in terms of the title. And you also have that it's a matte foundation in there, which is fine because that helps people, you know, identify that it's about something that matters to them. And you're also stating the problem here in terms of, you know, like this actually lasts, which suggests that there's a problem. I don't know, I don't wear makeup, but there's a problem with, you know, foundation not, you know, not lasting for a long time. So it looks like you are also saying that there's a problem solved there. But one thing that I would do is I would also A/B test this, you know, once you get through the thumbnail test, or maybe, you know, before or as a priority for the title, changing it to have this version, and then do a version to where it just says, I found a matte foundation routine that actually lasts, and just see, you know, if you get that a better response from personalizing that a little bit would also be something that I would experiment with. One thing that I would be mindful of is when it comes to thumbnails like this one, Like if you look at this and we look at it at a large size like it is, we can see everything that's going on in here. It's a little bit messy. There's no real focus, but it is showing, a lot of different things in here. The problem with this one is when it gets smaller because it's not focused and because, like this is pulling a lot of attention up here. But because it's not focused, it is, like it's hard to capture attention because, the eye can go all over the place here. So I would also A/B test this one. Spend the day with me. Film and okay. Since you are doing the film and skin prep as the as the leader on this one, just picking one of these and A/B testing against that to where it's clear that it has something to do with like makeup or maybe the unboxing. That would definitely be something I would experiment with on this one. And also, I don't think you need to put wife, mom, content creator on here. Instead, I would try this without text at all. And use just the image itself to, capture people's attention there. But if you are going to put text on here, I would do something instead of it being, a day in my life. I would do something related to, some of these products that you are doing. So for example, makeup unboxing or, beauty product unboxing or something like that. And even as a part of this, you can see here with
or specific Sephora specifically, since you're talking about it in the title. Yeah.
Yep. And like right here, you can see that when we blow this up, it's pretty easy to see a day in my life. But as soon as it goes back down to normal channel size, the little tag that you have up here is almost impossible to read. Unless you like really get in there, right? And then the day in my life, because of the color and because there's no real background on it, it just kind of blends in. And honestly, I didn't even realize that a day in my life was on here until I blew it up. Because I was looking at some of the imagery and trying to see that. And if you're trying to use that as a way to capture attention, then I would definitely, make sure that you are focusing on, making sure that stands out. But with that said, I would make that more around, the types of things that you're doing, or like Dee mentioned, the brand that you're talking about.
She has a Sephora bag, but it's so small.
Yeah, you can't tell.
Yeah, I mean, if
stylistically you can, like if that's their bag.
If that's a Sephora bag, but you're talking about at a glance.
Yeah,
we're everything at a glance.
Mm-hmm.
Beauties. Day.
So I'd work on those things for that.
A little bit of clarity.
Mm-hmm. Clarity goes a long way. It's really easy to, like when you're making thumbnails, it's really easy to overdo stuff and to. Am I off there? Am I moving around over here?
Yeah, man, you're just squirreling all over the place today.
But it's really easy to try to just fill all the space in a thumbnail. Yeah. But what you want to do is when you're making your thumbnails, you just want to think to yourself, okay, if this shows up on somebody's homepage, not somebody, but the person that I'm trying to reach with these videos, people that are into makeup tutorials, unboxings, the stuff that you're doing, what exactly about this thumbnail is going to help them at a glance identify that this has something to do with that thing that they care about that I make videos about, right? And make sure that you're putting a lot of time just thinking, okay, like what is this thumbnail focused on? What's the first thing they're going to see? If it's you, then okay, if they see me, then, what am I doing to this thing that is going to help them identify it's about something they care about? What am I doing to that is going to help that stand out to where their eye is going to immediately go over to that thing as soon as they look at me, right? Because that's the way that you capture people's attention at a glance. And that's way better than just filling a thumbnail up for the sake of filling up the thumbnail, right? It's just trying to make sure that it's focused to help people identify that it's something they care about. And then also making it look, good and making it look a certain way so that, when people see it, they think that, hey, there's probably a quality video behind this. Those types of things are also important. So because of that, I would definitely, work on those things when it comes to your thumbnails.
I concur.
And Dee concurs, and that's all that matters.
Yes.
Okay, so next up, we have ShePrepsSmart. She does low-carb cooking content. The goal is to quit their job and be a full-time content creator. And the question is, Overall, look at homepage and thumbnails. They started out as a homesteading channel. D, this is right up your alley.
Yep.
And figured out that I needed to niche down and choose cooking. I'm currently recalibrating the algorithm since I only had 120 followers at the time. Okay. So let's see what you have going on here. Let's take a gander, as D would say.
All right. That's the old man in the chair talking right there. You pulling them up?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, nice looking thumbnails.
Well, let's see it.
Yeah, I think this is like an AI hybrid, maybe. Or they just have a style. You know, they have a thumbnail designer that's chosen a style, or they've done it. I'm not sure. So yeah, so you were wanting feedback on your thumbnails.
Good
Go
that
ahead.
you can't say for sure.
Right. Yeah, it's on.
Right?
Yeah, I think the food looks like it, or they're just an excellent photographer for some of these things,
Could
which
be,
they might
yeah.
be an excellent photographer.
It
Yeah,
could
like
be
these look
the
really
no
good.
garden, no problem one.
Yeah.
Kind of makes me think it's ChatGPT.
Oh, this one right down here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But who
these-
knows?
Yeah, they look good though.
Yeah, it looks
so
good.
so there's some things that you're doing that I think are really good. High protein pasta salad. Like you're letting people know in the thumbnail at a glance. That's easy to read. You're focusing on the salad itself. All of that is great. High protein pasta salad. I tested the low carb hero spiral noodle. So one thing that I would do here when it comes to your titles is you are being informative, which is good, right? Like that's a step, you know, in the right direction there. But this is something that is like there's nothing really compelling about the title. So you're being informative and saying this is what it is, but you are TBG animations. What's going on? So you're being informative and you're saying what this is, but you are not doing anything to it to make it feel like, oh, I should probably check this out, right? So, for example, high protein pasta salad. I tested the low carb hero spiral noodle. You know, if this is a recipe, which I'm assuming it is just based on what's being offered here, but if this is a recipe, having high protein pasta, you know, salad recipe is, you know, one. So then hopefully it would at least fall under, you know, something search term wise. In addition to that,
I want to add something to
how
that.
to make a high protein pasta salad in under however many minutes it is a little bit more compelling because then you're attaching the time to it. Not necessarily the video length, but in terms of how long it takes you to make it if it's something that you can make quickly, right? So what you're doing there is you're putting the pasta salad in front of them, which is like, ooh, that looks good. And then it's like, okay, well, I'm also going to show you how to make it, which is what the how-to does. And then under a certain amount of time makes it to where it's like, hey, if you're going to make this, it's not going to take you that much time to make it. So then what you do by following that is you start adding additional value to that content from the outside. Because when somebody's looking at this, all they have is that information on the outside. So by adding things like that to this, then you start making it to where it's more just interesting from the outside, and it expresses a bigger value from the outside instead of it just being, you know, high protein salad. Same here. Since you're making food content, there's a really good channel that I want you to look at when you get the chance. And that channel is called All Recipes. I would definitely, you know, see what she's doing over there and try to, you know, mimic some of that. Like some things that she does that are really good is she also builds out themes around what she's doing. So, you know, for example, I can't remember off the top of my head the specific themes, but she does things like, you know, it's like cooking stuff that you need to know is like one of the themes. Not cooking stuff, but it's like, you know, whatever that thing is, you know, whatever recipe, blah, 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 that you need to know. But she has like a handful of themes, and then she basically just rotates those. And then she rotates those themes because she found that thing that people respond to. And then from that, she just keeps rinsing and repeating those themes with different dishes. And then she has an experimental arm too, where she does different stuff. But her core content is, you know, based around all of those different themes that she just repeats because she found that people respond to those. So she just repeats it over and over again. But I think how you're presenting all this stuff, I think all of this looks great. A few things that I would experiment with, like, you know, once you do start getting more views on these. Well, let me see something here really quick. 3 months, 2 months, 2 months, 1 month, 1 month, 1 month. Okay, yeah, so you're publishing regularly. So yeah, so once this starts doing better, I would also, man, what was the thing I was just getting ready to say? Oh yeah, I would also experiment with, because this this thing here is similar to what she does. So where she'll put the food real big on the side and then she has herself over here, is I would also experiment with and just see, if you find the thing that people respond to better, having, you in that dish being the focus, right? To where you're taking shots intentionally like that, to where it's like you holding it, just to, make it to where it's like they focus on the text, you, and the dish, right? I would experiment with that too. But what you're doing here, like all this looks good, and whoever's designing these, I don't know if it's you or AI or if you have a designer, but whoever's designing these too, it's also done really well to where you see you, but you kind of gloss over you and go straight over to the dish. So they're doing like a really good job in regards to that. I think you might be familiar with the recipe channel that I was talking about, because she also does these similar tags. So you might already be doing that, actually. Okay, it says they are recipes, and I was trying to ensure they were searchable. I have a hard time figuring out the curiosity gap of searchability. So when it comes to YouTube search, it's extremely powerful. They're making a lot of changes to it right now, so we're going to see how things change in the future. But people are, they're going to continue to search for stuff, right? Because you want to know information, you need to, dig stuff up. So because of that, I don't think it's going away. But they are making changes to that right now. One thing that I would also think about is when it comes to YouTube search, absolutely recipe videos, how to make this dish, how to make that, pasta salad recipe, those sorts of things are definitely, words and phrases that I would put in here for search, but more so to help people identify that it's about the content, but that's what you're offering. But as a side effect, you might have some of these videos show up in search on YouTube and Google, which is great and can drive long-term traffic. But one thing that I would definitely practice your hand at is trying to make everything more compelling, so that if somebody sees it on their homepage or a suggested video next to another recipe that they're watching, to where they're like, oh, this looks interesting, let me check that out. Because that's where like faster growth comes from. That's where, faster views come from. But, search is great also. But when it comes to what it is that you're doing, I would be, trying your hand at the recommendation system and trying to capture people off of the homepage and suggested videos, in addition to adding those, words and phrases to your titles for the sake of also having some of these show up in search as well. We call that double dipping is the language that we use for that.
Yeah, I would
where you're
also,
going after both things.
because the things that you're making are, it looks like you're going heavy on the protein, low carb, but a lot of people who are into weight loss are also into that sort of thing. So I would make sure to test, because he's talking about, the terminology that you're using for search. So in addition to recipes and meal prep, if you have something that's good for weight loss, I would make sure to get stuff like that in there too. This recipe for weight loss.
I also want to mention that I like your positioning here. So basically, build strength, build resilience, and build independence. And then you talk about the types of things that you're doing. I think all this is great because it suggests that the food that you are making is going to help people do these things. So it positions you like, we're not just doing recipes; we're doing recipes to help you build strength, resilience, and independence. Right? Like I think that's a cool positioning.
I mean, you could, yeah. I'm just kind of brainstorming here, and I only see a couple of the videos because he's controlling your channel. You could expand that and, talk about meals for lowering cholesterol and triglycerides, and, just think about what people also might be interested in for this type of food that you're making.
Yeah. Yeah. Other things too, just while we're here, other things is like, my backyard bird setup was a mess. So one thing that's really important right now.
Can I just tell you how much I hate birds?
So one thing that's really important right now is, as you are getting going here, you like if I were to come in and watch this video and I'm like, man, this is great, then in that case, there's a good chance that YouTube's going to recommend some additional content from your channel to me. Hopefully, they're going to recommend some of this stuff, because if they recommend this, then I'm probably not going to click on it. If they recommend these, I'm probably not going to click on these. So because of that, if you are heading in the direction of the food channel, just be really careful with publishing these other things to your channel that are not related to food, because these are going to break that continuity to where people can see you as a food source that helps them build, strength, resilience, and independence, right, through these recipes that you're doing. So I would just be really careful about, and I'll just say it straight, it's not about being careful. I would not put these on the channel for the no garden, no problem thing.
Unlist them.
Yeah, if this was mine, I would unlist it. But the bird setup fail, it worked. These these things that aren't related to what it is that you're doing now, yeah, I would just stay away from that and just focus all of your energy moving forward on the recipes.
And I don't like birds because where we live, we have a pigeon problem. You do too, I'm guessing.
Ours isn't pigeons. Ours are like just birds.
Just like
Yeah, just I don't know. I don't know how to
Just like-
separate them, but yeah, they're just like birds. Yeah, no.
birds.
Yeah,
The fake
birds,
ones.
Yeah,
The fake birds.
yeah, the birds that aren't real. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. So we have a pigeon problem, and those things just dirty up everything. And they're not afraid of anything. Doesn't matter. We try rubber snakes. We try little twirly things. We try fake owls. We try every possible thing that you could put up there, and they'll just go sit on top of them. Like they don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. So the next question that we have here on the list is
Wait, did you see her follow-up?
Lori's 88 Angels.
Did you see her follow up?
What'd she say?
She said those are old videos before going strictly to food. Should I remove them?
It's your call if you want to remove them or not. If it was my channel, I would unlist them. I wouldn't delete them completely, but I would unlist them. If it was my channel, that's what I would do, is I would unlist them. So Lori's 88 Angels, they do daily content. They've been on YouTube for 1 year or more. They do philosophy content. The goal of the channel is to make money. And the question is, I'm unable to use custom thumbnails, enabled, and I still have to choose from YouTube's choices or not at all, and I'm doing long form. Lori, if you're in the chat right now, are you uploading these from your computer or are you uploading these from a phone? Either way, if you have it enabled and you've went through the verification process on YouTube, like if it's a brand new channel, you should be able to upload these without any problems at all when it comes to custom thumbnails. The thing that you need to make sure that you're doing, hey Brad, what's up, man? The thing that you want to make sure that you are doing is you want to make sure that you are, hold on 1 second, I'm adding this to the thing here. There we go. Yeah, so the thing that you want to make sure that you are doing is making sure the aspect ratio is correct. So making sure it's a 16:9 aspect ratio. Because if you try to upload something else, it can, reject those. The file size is huge now, so that's probably not the issue. But it could just be the aspect ratios. Because I know some tools out there.
Phone.
Oh, okay, you're doing it all on a phone. Okay. Yeah, so with that, you do have the option. I don't know if you have this in yet, so I need to tell you about it. So if you are a content creator, YouTube has an app called YouTube Studio. It looks like this. You probably can't see that. I know YouTube has the zoom in feature, so maybe you can see it there. But basically for YT Studio, you want to make sure that you have that installed. You can do this stuff on your on the YouTube app also, but as a content creator, you need to have the YT Studio app installed. It allows you to be able to do these types of things where you can upload thumbnails and you can change your titles and do all of that stuff in a similar way that you do. Oh, you do have YT Studio on your phone. Perfect.
Oh, good.
Yeah, then you should be able to make those changes in there. So like Doug mentioned, make sure that you do have, the verification stuff taken care of, and that will enable you to do it. And if you have that and you're still having that problem, then it's probably the aspect ratio. Or it could be the size because you're on a mobile. So the size update was for uploading from a desktop. So unless they've updated that, which I haven't seen any information on that yet, but unless they updated that, then the limitation of the 2 megabytes is still on mobile devices. So because of that, just make sure the file sizes are a good fit too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'll never understand why they handicap mobile creators.
Me neither.
For people that are just doing it on their phone.
Right.
Especially
while
when
at the same time trying to make it to where anybody can upload videos to YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a huge disconnect in my
Yeah.
brain. Like, I don't know, it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially with the number of Indian creators specifically.
Right.
That are making
Doing stuff on
content
mobile phones.
only
Yep.
on their phone. Yeah. Enormous amount of mobile creators in India.
Yep. Hey, you're
And-
getting some tips in here for your pigeon problem, by the way.
And, I'm going to read the tips here. Hang on. And you would think, like, if you're only doing this on your phone, you don't know what you don't have access to.
Right.
You don't know where you're getting capped. You don't know what you're missing. Yeah.
You don't
I
even know
think-
what to hunt for. Yeah.
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 Yeah, exactly. You don't even know what
Yeah.
to hunt for.
Yeah, so just as a heads up, and this is a little bit it's a little bit weird getting in there, but for everybody, if the only thing that you have, you don't have a computer doing everything on your phone, You can also go to studio.youtube.com, and that will also let you into the back of YouTube so you can see the stuff that you are missing out on. It gets you, into more advanced stats and all those things. It's clunky on a phone. And they try to stop you from doing it. And they try to encourage you to open up the app instead. But you can, choose desktop mode, when you're accessing it in your browser, and you can still navigate into it. But yeah, if you're doing everything on your phone, I would definitely do that because that'll also give you better insights on everything that you're doing.
Yeah, there's a lot of pinching and zooming when you go in that way because it displays it like a desktop. So if you want to add things like cards and end screens, I think now in the YT Studio app, if I'm not mistaken, I think they do have a section that will open up inside of there for some of these tools. So I think they're getting a little bit better.
Nice.
But it's still not all in the app. A lot of pinching and zooming.
Hey, if you are new here, just want to let you know we're answering YouTube questions, looking at channels, that kind of stuff. So if you're a YouTuber, you're in the right place. If you have any questions, there's a link in the chat. It's pinned in the chat where you can just click into that, and then you can go and ask your questions. So next up, we have Catistic. Catistic uploads 1 time per week or more. Been making videos for a year or more. They do an aerospace gaming channel. The goal of the channel is to have fun. The question is, what is the best way to clean my subs from the promotion mistake? I also stream on Twitch. So once somebody subscribes to your channel, it's not up to you. Like, you cannot kick people off of your channel and kick out subscribers. You just can't do that. One thing you can do is if people are, like haggling you or, they're bullying you in some way or saying things you don't like in the comments, you do have the option to hide people from the channel, like as they are commenting and that sort of thing. But when it comes to just saying, hey, I want to kind of hit a button that refreshes my subscribers, YouTube does not have that option. But don't worry, YouTube will handle that on their end. So how that works on YouTube's end is for those people that subscribe that you think that, you aren't making content for, what YouTube's going to do is YouTube is going to detect that when you're publishing videos, those people aren't responding. And in a relatively short amount of time, YouTube will correct all that for you to where, it'll just stop recommending your content to those people because those people just aren't responding, which tells YouTube that your content isn't the right fit for them. And it didn't necessarily mess up your algorithm. And let me explain why. So, and this is in response to the comment that, like the follow-up comment here. Let me go into the comments so I can show you this. Yeah, so right here. So when it comes to this, saying that, you think it messed up your algorithm. So that is... Instead of thinking of YouTube like you are essentially, playing against their system, think of it like they're like, okay, when you log into YouTube as a user, right? YouTube is monitoring everything that you do, everything. Every time you're scrolling and you stop. If you're on your phone, you're going through the feed. If you're scrolling and you stop, they know that you stopped and they're logging all of that. If you watch the autoplay of a video and it just starts playing, right? You know how the thumbnail will turn into a video and it just starts playing? So if that happens, they're logging that. If you decide to click on it, they log that. If you watch that autoplay and then move on, they log that. So they're logging everything it is that you do. And with YouTube, with their, billions of users now on the platform, what happens is, when your content is being shown to people, then YouTube is just determining, are people liking this or not? That's it. And if people are, then YouTube will show your content to more of those types of people. And if they're not, then YouTube will either stop showing your content to people or it'll stop showing your content to people like that in favor of the people that are responding to it. So when you are thinking that you like messed up your algorithm, you didn't. Instead, what happened is that you are basically publishing content that the people that you paid for the YouTube promotion to get into your channel, you're publishing content right now that those people are not responding to. So because of that, YouTube's gonna, keep testing it against them. And then if they continue to not respond, and even now with them, like they're recommending your content to them and they're testing it against other people too. So all that needs to happen is you need to have a video that people respond to at a high enough rate that it's competitive for YouTube. And then YouTube will, autocorrect all of that stuff. But don't think of it from the standpoint of that you've like messed up your algorithm in some way, because it's just how people are responding to what it is that you're doing.
Hey, Lucia.
Okay, so next up, we've got
Who's up? Who we pulling
Ghost CRO channel is the next channel here. They are getting ready to start their channel. So welcome to the creator side of YouTube. They're getting ready to start a gaming channel. Goal is to have fun. They say it's an old channel. I used to make videos before. Says I want to start making gameplay videos again. However, I have a YouTube channel where I posted gameplay videos. My question is, could I use my already existing channel with 1.73 subscribers and private my old videos and change the name of my channel? Honestly, like if you are going to be, let me take a look at your channel. If you're going to be doing the same game, then I would go ahead and do it on your on your current channel. But if you are going to be doing, different games than what you did 2 years ago, then I would just start a new channel and just build it from scratch. Like if you want to test it, because, obviously you're trying to hold on to that subscriber count, and I understand. So if you want to test it and, say, hey, let me upload, a few videos here and see if any of these old people will come back, then, you can do that, obviously. But with this content that you published 2 years ago, like 55 views, 18 views, 79 views. So people weren't really responding to this anyway. So because of that, I don't think that this, put you in any like weird position. Shorts is probably where most of your subscribers came from. Maybe not. Hold on. 1.4 thousand views here. Let me see. You had to have a video do okay. That's interesting. Hold on. Yeah, so you've had 28,000 views on the channel, and out of that, you had 1.7 thousand subscribers. So yeah, I would probably start a new channel and build it from scratch. And then by doing that, you also get the opportunity to leverage, what YouTube does with new channels in terms of testing them for longer and things like that. So if it was me, I would start a new channel. Of course, do what you like. But if it was me, I would start a new channel. What'd you do, D?
There you have it. I'd start a new channel.
D would start a new channel too. So stamped and double stamped.
Yep.
Oh, looks like Scotch Page Strength in here, dropping peptides and pizza.
Oh.
I'm talking about. Oh, love it. So next up on
That's such a winning idea.
What, peptides and pizza?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Love that.
So Charlie Finds is the name of the channel. D, what do you think Charlie Finds is about?
Charlie Finds is going to...
And it's Finds, F-I-N-D-S, not F-I-N-E-S.
F-I-N-D-S.
He's not in the streets like finding people.
Okay.
He's finding something. I just don't know what.
Okay.
I mean, that's how it's spelled anyway. It might not be what he's doing.
I think he's a reseller or a thrifter.
Oh, interesting.
A reseller, a thrifter, a scrapper, or it could be a pirate treasure hunter.
Oh, nice.
It's going to be one of those.
Okay.
Yeah. Like a
Not like a metal detector person?
like a legit pirate.
Okay.
Could be a pirate with a metal detector.
Okay. All right, that's good. Pirate with metal detector. I don't know how metal detectors work on a boat, in terms of the water. Like, hey, we're out in the ocean, matey.
No.
I need that metal detector to see if there's any sharks out here.
They go to the beach. They walk around the British.
So they know what to pillage. Like, hey, is anybody hiding gold and anybody hiding stuff, in the dirt here that we're pillaging?
Stuff is pillaged,
that
and
makes
they
sense.
maybe don't want to take it aboard
It
yet.
all comes together now. I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great, If
good.
somebody's not a pirate metal detector channel, you're missing out on a huge opportunity.
So what they do here, they've been on YouTube for less than 6 months. What they do here is they do storage units, lockers, and ready?
Pirate.
Ready? Here it comes. And a reseller channel. Woo! Got him, D.
I told you.
Got him. Knew it.
Could be a pirate reseller.
All right, here we go. So the goal of the channel is to make money. And the question, they're pretty new at this, be constructive criticism is welcome. What would be the biggest single thing I could do to improve my channel and get more exposure based on what you see on my channel? Let's take a look.
You're welcome.
Love it. Okay, let's see here.
So they own the storage facilities.
Hey, you know what? Magic Dumpster Gaming, I apologize. I just, because the message was held automatically from YouTube through their moderation. And I just read the booty part on there and I took it wrong. But you were meaning booty as a pirate booty. So my apologies for deleting that comment there. That was me with my mind and not them. So that was my fault.
Literally nobody thought
Yeah, he says, give me your booty. Oh, wait, that can mean something else. Yeah,
And you
so,
kicked him out?
And I got, well, I didn't kick him out. I just deleted the comment.
That's the most unpirate thing you should have ever done.
Yeah, that was shame on me.
Yeah.
Yeah, shame on me.
It's going to be a long, quiet ride home.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah.
The things I have to do for peace, right? Yeah.
That's right.
So, the
David Matney's in the house, ladies and
what's
gentlemen.
up, David? Hope you're doing great. So the feedback here was, what's the one thing that you can do on the channel to make the biggest difference?
Oh my God, he's dressed as a pirate.
No way. Oh my God, he is.
Yes.
No way.
Yes.
That is
Second
a pirate
row.
hat. Yeah.
Second
Yeah,
row.
I see it right here. No way.
I
What
am
are the odds
vindicated.
of that?
I
No
am
way.
vindicated.
Yeah.
I am vindicated.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah. It's good.
I knew it. I
Yep.
felt it.
This
in
probably
my-
sounds great
I
for like
felt
everybody
it.
around here.
I
Yep.
felt it in my bones. I felt it in my
I love it.
bones.
All right. So,
Man, called it.
yeah, so we do have him as
He's
a pirate. It's
literally
good.
dressed like a pirate. You're welcome.
Yep.
Told you.
Yep. Yeah, and they have here signed treasures inside. So it's got pirate vibes too. Yeah, like this is great. Yeah, what are the odds of that?
I told
my
you, man.
Goodness, right?
It's the vibe.
Yep. Yeah,
It's in
it's
the
good.
name, Charlie Fines.
Yep. All right, so
I'm surprised you didn't pick up on that, to be honest.
Yep. So let's take a look here and see what we got going on. Okay, the bid on the wrong storage unit. Now what? Surprise storage unit find. Okay. So little details here. First, I would make sure that you are capitalizing the right things in the right places, things like that. And that's not going to make like a huge difference, but people do consider those things when they're deciding on what to click on. Make sure that your text isn't getting cut off in your thumbnails like this one is. So before you publish the video or the thumbnail, just load it in and make sure that it's not getting cut off anywhere. So I'd make sure that you do redo anything that's getting cut off like that. So you're screwed up. We bid on the wrong storage unit. Now what? Surprise unit finds. Too much stuff. This was a good storage unit. Yeah. So you're taking the right approach here on trying to get curiosity, right? And trying to lean on curiosity, like more crazy finds from our storage unit. But one thing that I would be mindful of is when you are packaging these things up, things like more crazy finds, that only mean something to people that have already watched one of your videos. For new people, that doesn't mean anything to them. So because of that, you want to make sure that you are thinking about new viewers coming into the channel. You also want to, make sure you are serving the people that are enjoying the content. But when you're packaging everything up, you want to make sure that every video can stand on its own merit and that people don't have to know anything else in order to be able to respond to the content, right? So when you have this type of thing, it's leaning more on people that are already watching the content versus you trying to, publish content that gets in front of new viewers. But with that said, what you're doing here with making, the longer videos to where you're trying to go with like the TV show route, this type of thing is really smart, especially now because YouTube is one of the dominant devices on YouTube, which is great. And these types of videos are great for the TV experience. So step one would be to make sure that you are considering the packaging. Like here, we bid on all the wrong storage unit. Now what? This tells me kind of what it is that you're doing, but there's nothing about this that would make me be like, oh yeah, I need to, come and, click on this video, right? I need to see what happened here with this person. So because of that, I would definitely spend time on how you're presenting what it is that you're doing. So when you are putting your videos together, and I know if you're just going and doing finds that you don't know what's going to happen ahead of time, so therefore you can't make the thumbnails first and you can't come up with the titles first. So because of that, you are kind of pigeonholed into what it is that you find, and you have to try to make what you can in terms of the packaging from that. But one thing that I would do is I would try to figure out, like, is there anything that I can focus on here other than like, yeah, you screwed up that might be visually something that might match what it is that you are offering here. So for example, we bid on the wrong storage unit. Now what? And instead of like you looking at the dog and then a bunch of text on here, maybe you standing there like in a storage unit with like a box next to you, right? To where it looks like, oh, okay, well, you just got that, one box out of, whatever you paid for or whatever. Or something like this, like, we bought the wrong storage unit and then, have, something similar going on there. So then it just makes it a little bit more, informative instead of trying to use the text just to kind of fill up space, right? So I would definitely do those sorts of things when it comes to the, how you're packaging this up. D, any thoughts on this? since you nailed like what's happening here, I guess you should have been leading on this one.
Yeah, scroll down just a little bit more. You already mentioned the obvious in terms of, because you're using ChatGPT to make this, so you can go back and you can take these same thumbnails and re-upload them into ChatGPT, and they have a new, if you choose the Create To option, they have the format and the ratio that you can choose, and it will fix all of these, or remake them. Yeah, I would be careful about things like your whole, the whole thing about treasure hunting and people watching others treasure hunt and go through storage facilities. And it's that curiosity. What did they find? What did they find? What's in this one? And you're hinting at that, but just be careful about showing them too much. Like, don't show them what you found, but like start to show them, right? You want to add that element of curiosity to it. Like more crazy finds. Like I would find a way to, I would even do something fun, like maybe blur part of that zombie mannequin or something like that.
I would take that text off completely.
Or just, yeah.
Like
just,
with a lot of what you're doing, like I wouldn't even use text at all. I think that in your case, I think the text is probably working against you.
It might be.
Yeah.
It might be. But yeah, I would do a lot of experimenting. I would try to find, and this is, you have the ABC testing feature inside of YouTube. I would do a lot of testing with different imagery to see what your audience responds the most to. Do they respond the most to you showing them partial, this is what we found, versus like you're opening the box and you can't believe, they can't see in the box, but you look absolutely surprised what's in it, or you just look defeated because you just bought a storage unit that...
I can't believe we just found this in an abandoned storage unit.
Yeah.
Hold the box, bunch of stuff blurred inside of it.
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah, just experiment, because what you're trying to find is the imagery that is going to compel your ideal viewer to click. So and again, I agree with Nick. I would test some of this stuff without text. I would test some of it with less text. I would put your pirate picture in your profile picture. I think that's awesome. Well, because it's different.
Yeah.
He's got the beard and the whole thing. I think it's cool.
Yeah. So a couple things also to think about is I think that with what it is that you are doing, people are interested in this type of content.
Definitely.
So I think in terms of the genre of content that you are publishing, I think you have potential there. You are hamming it up here, and you are taking the time to take these like fun pictures and that kind of stuff. So I think that somebody that just started their channel a month ago,
that's great, man.
Yeah, I think that you're definitely heading in the right direction, and I think that you do definitely have some potential here. But I would definitely what we're going through right now with some of the tips that we're giving you, like this is just all part of the learning process, right? I do think that with what it is that you're doing, that you guys do have potential in this.
Yeah.
Because the content type is proven already, and you look like you're fun with what it is that you're doing, which makes me think, and I could be wrong, but it makes me think when you're making the videos, you guys are probably fun too, right? So because of that, I think that you do have potential here, but I would just spend time. Like when you're packaging all this up, what you want to think about is like, okay, if the people that are interested in this type of content, if they are sitting here scrolling on YouTube here, or they're scrolling on YouTube on their phone, or they see that grid of thumbnails on their on their TV screen, like what about my thumbnail is going to help them as they're scrolling go, oh, this is one of those storage channels where they find find this stuff.
Can we see what other storage channels are doing with their packaging?
Storage finds. Risked it all. I risked $2,871 on an abandoned storage unit. Right here. Very minimal text, all focus on the stuff, right?
But you can't.
And there's also stakes involved here. Right here, I risked this, right? So there's stakes involved with that also. Right? This is another one to where there's no, text on the thumbnail at all. Here, just one line of text, right?
AI.
Other here, I bought $5,000 in abandoned, storage, but they got 1.8 million views on this.
Yeah.
Very similar thing. This is Hope Scope actually doing this one.
Yeah, she's just one of them copied the other on that one.
And then we have similar thing here to where they're not. If you look at all of these, the amount of text that they're using is
it's minimal.
Very minimal. Right, with the exception of A&E, but they have the TV leverage there.
I just want to go on the record and say that I hate that style of thumbnail, that over AI, over airbrushed
Some
no,
demographics respond.
I'm
to
not
them,
the target audience, but just
Yeah.
I personally hate that. I go out of my way not to click on those.
Yep.
In fact, I might even take it a step forward or a step more, and I might click on them to watch 2 seconds and click away, just to hurt their watch time.
Oh, look at you!
I might
Look at you being hateful.
I might be. I hate those type of thumbnails so bad.
Goodness,
I
Steve.
might just be a hater.
Oh my goodness, that's great.
Yeah.
D over here hating.
Yeah, that just looks terrible. People respond to it. I'm not going to respond to
Nash
it.
has
but
arrived.
People do.
All right.
But yeah, I mean, in comparison, going back and looking at the thumbnails, you are really text heavy,
Yeah.
and you don't need to be.
Yeah.
Like, you're finding treasure. Let the treasure or the mystery of the treasure or the chaos. Like, for example, like the third video over to the right here, you have all of that stuff, too much stuff, but too much stuff is actually hiding a lot of the stuff.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you don't actually get a full, like my eye, and it's red, so my eyes go straight to too much stuff instead of all of the stuff that's in the garage.
Yeah, other things that I would do also, and this isn't necessarily to rank your videos in search, but I would also with your channel, and just as a heads up, I don't know if you noticed this or not, but we're spending a little bit of extra time here, and the reason for that is because I think that, you know, if you dial some of this stuff in, that you guys will be doing awesome. But you have up here where you can use YouTube search to start typing in things that people are looking for. So because of that, I would just spend, you know, an afternoon typing different things into YouTube search, typing different things in Google search around storage and, you know, that type of thing to see the types of things that people are looking for on the video side in order to, you know, find content like yours and start using some of that language in your titles as well. So for example, here, too much stuff. Was this a good storage unit? That's okay. But since storage finds is, you know, obviously something that people look for, then in that case, you know, too much stuff, you know, was this storage find you know, worth it, or, you know, something along those lines. But basically just trying to find places, you know, where it, you know, where appropriate, trying to find places within your titles where you can use the language that people are using to find your type of content, putting those words in there so that when they do see it on the homepage, after you grab their attention with the thumbnail, they drop it down there, and then you're instantly making that connection, you know, making that connection with them based on how they think about your content. So I would do those sorts of things too.
I love the pirate get up.
Yeah, that was great. Absolutely
That
great.
just made my night.
Yep.
Because I
Yeah.
knew it, man. I just knew it.
And Roberto mentions here, he says, the majority of consumers are getting over those thumbnails, D, because all huge YouTubers and brands are using them, so it's just going to be normalized.
Then I got a lot of work to do, Roberto.
Yeah.
I got a lot of videos.
A lot of hating. You got a lot of hating.
Listen,
you better crack those knuckles. Yeah, you got a lot of hating to do.
I know.
Yeah.
And I agree with Roberto.
You can just build an automation so where you
It's-
just like drop those links into it, and then AI will just kind of click in and then click back out on your behalf. You can do that, I think, with CoWork.
Yeah, it's becoming normalized, and I hate it. I absolutely hate it.
We're trying to optimize like hating.
Yeah.
Great.
Well, here's the thing. I hate it.
I'm just kidding.
I hate it for a couple of reasons. One, I just don't like that plastic human look. I don't have a problem with AI generated thumbnails.
Yeah.
I just don't like the plastic human look. And even though all the top creators, well, not all, but many of the top creators are going that way, I think it's a stupid trend. And I'll be surprised if
It's been that way for quite some time.
at some time it's going to change. At some time, especially with all the AI content coming in, I'll be surprised if we don't end up going back to more authentic, less.
I think some niches will.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be people that are doing it. It's not going to be me. Yeah. A little bit of, a little bit of cleanup on your skin I'm cool with, but just, it's that overly plastic look where it looks like a mannequin.
Yeah.
Or, you know what it looks like? It looks like a cheaply made AI image. That's what it
Scale
looks
Train
like.
Station says D's new service, the Auto Hater.
Yeah.
Yeah, just send him links.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
He takes DMs on Twitter if you have some content you want him to click in and out of.
Oh, yeah. Listen, all day tomorrow from about the crack of noon until about midnight,
goodness.
I will be
Yep.
I will be watching.
For the new people here that don't know how chaotic it gets sometimes, they're probably like, oh my gosh, what's wrong with this guy? He's just like...
Don't let me find you using those thumbnails. No, Roberto's right. You know, people use them, people respond to them. I'm just not one of those people.
So Tracy Uplifts is the next channel here. They upload 1 time per week or more, but on YouTube for less than a year. The goal of the channel is to make money. And the question is, are my thumbnails and titles slowing my growth? I haven't truly broken out. Most of my reach has been from other people promoting my story. Lost 170 pounds and got out of a wheelchair. That's a big deal.
Oh, wow.
Let's take a look and see what it is that you are doing, Tracy.
And while you're doing that, I want to get a pulse on the chat right now. How do you guys feel about that plastic over AI generated looking type of thumbnail? Are you for it, or are you against it, or are you indifferent?
Christian Encourager, what's going on? Hope you're doing great. Okay, so let me see the question again. So the question was, do I think that the thumbnails and titles are slowing your growth? Here we go.
Valentine Station. Don't hate, create. How can you create when you've got all those videos to watch?
That's great. So let's see here. Premenopause, 5 secrets to prepare now. Weight loss transformation. Video change your life in 15 days. No, I think your publishing schedule is what's slowing your growth. Here, you have 5 months ago you had this spurt that you went through. And then you had, a considerable break here, and then you several months off, and then you started publishing again. So I would work more on working the process of creating into your lifestyle, creating and publishing into your lifestyle. I'd work on that so that you can, be consistent, because if you're publishing on a regular basis, it's not only about feeding YouTube system content, it's also about, practicing the craft. In addition to that, incredible weight loss transformation, how I lost 170 pounds, definitely interesting here, but I would zoom in on everything, because this right here, it's clearly a before and after picture, but everything is zoomed out, right? To where you have to, kind of study it for a second. You have all this distracting stuff here, in the background. All these pictures here are the same color as your dress. So because of that, it makes it to where you're kind of blending in with everything there. So for things like this, I would definitely, try to stand out more, zoom in more so people can see. What you're doing here, I think, is also okay, but with these colors, I think that this is taking away from you, quite a bit also. So I would definitely, adjust, this particular one in a similar way. But conceptually, you're doing the right thing. But I think that, zooming in more so people can just see a little bit more detail, and just experimenting with different, thumbnails would definitely be the thing here. Because I think your story is going to be interesting. How I lost 170 pounds. I lost 170 pounds naturally from a wheelchair. Here's why.
Good work, by the way.
Yeah.
It's
Congratulations.
amazing transformation.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
A lot of hard work. Congratulations.
Yep. But I would, but when it comes to this though, I would definitely, I would spend more time like learning how to make thumbnails, go look for other people that are doing similar things and see what they're doing, and just kind of use that. This is another one, like with this one, right? You have all of this stuff going on over here, this huge blue frame around it, a big Y, but none of this really means anything, right? When you're trying to capture somebody's attention. So I would definitely work on that. And I'm seeing if what I just saw is regular here. Hold on.
And Roberto, I agree with that. Roberto, we're talking about the filters here really quick while you're looking for that. He says,
yes. So
go ahead.
Yeah. So really quick also, when you're publishing long form content, turn your camera so that you are making 16:9 aspect ratio content.
Good catch.
And the reason for that is because it's being presented that way from the outside. So like this one's better, right? Because you have the wide shots here.
What a transformation. Wow.
But like with this one, you can see here how, like when you hover over this, it's like, oh, I'm not going to get what I am trying to get out of this video. Like I'm thinking it's something like this, but then I hover over it, get ready to click, and it's like, oh, wait a minute, is this supposed to be a short? Like what's going on here, right? So I would do that as well. But from a different perspective, another thing is here you have transitioned into this pre-menopause prep. Let me turn that autoplay off. You have, I got to there we go. You have transitioned into this pre-menopause prep, and I don't think, I could be wrong, but I don't think that has anything to do with any of this other stuff that you're offering here. So because of that, if you are going to make this whole thing about your journey and helping other people and encouraging people through that journey, this right here probably isn't going to be a great fit for, you know, for these people that you are trying to help, unless this video is directly about menopause and, you know, and because of that, that's, you know, the thing that helped you lose weight and that sort of thing. So another thing that I would do in your case is to just get clear on what it is that you want to offer on the channel. Like over the next, let's say 5 years on this, you know, is this something that, you know, you want to build the whole channel around your weight loss journey, or do you want to build the whole channel around, you know, something else, to where it's like, this is, you know, something that you went through and it's shared, but are you going to start steering the direction or the channel in this direction, or are you going to keep it, you know, in this direction? So I would just get clear on what it is that you're trying to build also, so you can make sure that you're making the right content decisions when it comes to what you publish.
Yeah, good work. And I want to say this, Roberto, man, Roberto's been working out, and he's been posting it. He's kind of documenting it along the way.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Looking good, man.
Nice.
And you're right. We normalize this with the beauty filters on every app. Yeah. Hey, Sue, how you doing? Good to see you.
Next up, we've got Kelamisu Sambo is the name of the channel. Hope I'm saying that right. If not, I apologize. They upload they've been on YouTube for a year more. They do church content, go to the channels, connect with others who like what they like. And the question is, I would like to get more subscribers and views. My monthly audience is higher than my actual audience. Okay, so let's look and see what it is that you're doing. Okay, you want to get more views. Yeah, so you're in a similar boat here in terms of, you know, you're uploading vertical, you know, content to the side of YouTube that is, you know, landscape. So I would definitely, you know, make sure that you're uploading the right aspect ratio. In addition to that, like some of these, like I'm not sure what this is right here, but, you know, another thing that is also important to think about is when you're uploading videos to this is just making sure that you are, you know, thinking of what people get out of this. Because here you have like the engagement of like this person and this person. It says princess, so if they're famous, then, you know, I guess that's okay. And then here, you know, this is a song. So right here between these two videos by themselves, it looks like this one is music and this one is music, but this one looks like it's something else. So because of that, yeah, because this here, you even have like the little music icon here. So these are definitely music. Down here's music. This is music for the members. Okay, so it's all music except for a handful. Yeah, so it's like you're occasionally dropping in these other ones. Music, shorts, wedding. Yeah, and this isn't a short either because it's showing up, you know, on the landscape side. So write a real title for this one. So yeah, so what you need to do is you need to first start uploading the right aspect ratio to this side. You need to decide if you're a music channel or if you're a channel that does these other things. And you need to also make sure that when you are uploading to YouTube that you're uploading the right stuff to the right place, right? Because here, you've got this shorts hashtag instead of a title, which isn't accurate there. So I would dial in those types of things right now. And then same thing here. Down here, you've got like a graduation thing going on. You know, and that's not music either.
Dude, what are you showing?
What?
Are you showing the right channel?
Oh, you know what? I'm not. That's great. Hold on, share this tab
I'm like watching.
You're like, what's he talking about?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out, like, what in the world is he talking about?
Sorry about that, Tracy. Yep. So this is what I'm talking about. So yeah, so this one right here, these are music videos. They are, you know, uploaded here as, you know, vertical videos. This one is about something, you know, unrelated. This one is music. This one is music. So as we go through these, just a quick recap, like most of these are music, and then they throw in, you know, some additional things that are not music as well. So I would just get dialed in on that and figure out if you're a music channel or if you're, you know, a channel doing the other thing. And if you are mixing them, then I would have a dedicated music channel and then put the other stuff, you know, somewhere else. If you're trying to grow as like a single artist, then some of these things are a little bit flexible. But it looks like you're doing like, you know, like choir stuff and, you know, things like that. So I would definitely, yeah, for this one, yeah, this is another example here. Oh no, that is a song. Hold on. Yeah, another thing too is I'm not sure what these sound like, but I would also make sure if they're not, and they may be, but I would also make sure that the audio coming from these is also really good. So try to make sure that if you are, posting these, that it's not just music that you recorded from like a phone in that environment, but instead that it is, that you have like good audio coming from the music that you're making too, so that people can, use this as a music resource. If you are new here and you have joined the stream recently, what we're doing right now is we are looking at YouTube channels. We're answering YouTube questions, just trying to help people out with YouTube. So if you have a question about anything it is you're doing on YouTube, there's a form that you can put your question in for free, pinned at the top or bottom of the chat, depending on the view that you have. Just click into that, and then that will send you to that form. If you're watching on somewhere that isn't YouTube, then you can go to nickniman.com/ask, and it will send you to that same exact place. And really quick, Tan going in the kitchen says, member for 21 months, says, thank you both. Quick question. What do you do when you rediscover a channel that you completely forgot that you had? That's interesting. Yeah. So Dee and I were actually talking about that the other day, because I mentioned, I don't know if you remember this, but I mentioned that I got an email from like a channel that was set up like a long time ago. I completely forgot about it, and it was telling me that they were going to delete it if I didn't respond to it.
Was that your Shirtless Cowboys channel?
Might have been. Mm-hmm. Yeah, or my pirate channel could have been that too.
Could have been.
Yeah, but yeah, those things definitely happen, because sometimes you'll just create a channel and just upload something just to like see something, like, hey, let's upload this and see what happens. So for things like that, yeah, there's a bunch of extra accounts floating around all over the place. What about you, D?
Oh yeah. I have all kinds of stuff all over YouTube.
Okay, so next up on the list here, we have RC Adventures with Mac. What do you think they do, D?
RC Adventures with Mac?
Yep, not RV, RC.
Are obviously remote control cars.
Okay.
He's doing the whole remote control. He's probably doing dirt tracks or indoor tracks, drifting on the little remote control cars. Probably has some cool drone footage falling around. Maybe putting an action cam on the car.
Okay.
Maybe doing the Hot Wheel loops.
Okay.
With the camera on the car.
All right. I'm going to get this one ready to look at so we can see. Okay, so the type of channel.
He might be a pirate.
Oh, no. Here we go. So the type of channel is educational about building and running RC cars. So you got it. Yep, you got it. Goal of the channel is to teach others. The question is, I run an educational RC car channel showing builds, mods, and how they work. After 1 year, I have 883 subs. Am I on track? Take a look and see what you're doing. Yeah, so in terms of being on track, the first thing that I want to say is when it comes to YouTube and YouTube growth, everybody grows at like different rates.
Are you showing their channel?
I am here a second.
Okay.
But everybody grows at different rates, so in terms of being on track, what some people would say is on track for one person is a completely different thing for another person. So because of that, just keep that in mind when it comes to YouTube. Some people, they come in, they've been, watching YouTube and preparing to do a YouTube channel for a long time, and they will get, the conceptual stuff that we're going to go over here in a second. They're going to get some of that naturally, and because of that, it'll give them a head start. Other people come into YouTube with different skill sets from other things that they've done prior in their life before they start YouTube. That gives them an advantage to where it just shortens the learning curve just a little bit. But most people come onto YouTube to where, they're like, yeah, like Sly went walking here, that where there is no track, right? It's just they come onto YouTube and then they figure it out as they go. Some people grow faster than others. It's just kind of the nature of the thing. So the fact that you have videos on here, like one I'm looking at is here. We'll just go ahead and pull it up. So like this video here, right? You got 4.5 thousand views on it. 4.4 thousand views, 1.3, 1.7, 1.8, 3.2. So you have proof of concept. People are responding to what it is that you're doing, but you definitely need to dial things in. So let's talk about how to do that. So first, when it comes to your channel, you're focusing all this stuff on you, right? You're making this more about you, making sure that your branding's in there and all of this stuff, putting all this text on here and all of that. But if you are, we'll just pull this one up. So if you are somebody, which you are, that's interested in RC cars, if you look at this thumbnail and you only have 1 second or less than 1 second to gather information from this thumbnail, as someone who is into RC cars, what about this thumbnail tells you at a glance that this has anything to do with RC cars, right?
I'm going to give that a Nothing.
Nothing. Right.
Right.
So you have this like thing in the background, which is an RC car, but the focus is wow.
Frame of an RC car.
Yep. The focus is on wow, on this character here, and on this text that's hard to read because it's all at an angle, right? And the color doesn't really stand out that much. So right now what you're doing is you're focusing everything on you and your brand and trying to write titles in your thumbnails instead of focusing on the things that the viewer cares about. So what you want to do is with all of your thumbnails that you're doing, if you want to use this character in here, it's fine. Just keep it small, right? Keep it small, put it in a consistent place so that, you know, your viewers that love your content, they always know to look there to see if it's yours or not. So for example, I'm just going to see if I can find a good one. Maybe something like this, but a little bit smaller, you know, and just kind of move him down to where, you know, to where it's just like a full thing, like over in the corner, maybe something like this, but a little bit smaller. But basically, if you're going to do something like that, try to make it small and make it consistent. Because if it's inconsistent like this, then you're kind of breaking the whole purpose of adding that to there for people being able to recognize it, right? So because of that, if you're going to use something like that, make it small. Number two is you want to make sure that every one of your thumbnails has a strong focus on the RC car itself, or maybe a track that's easy to identify at a glance that it has something to do with RC cars, that sort of thing. Here, you're covering up on every one of your thumbnails, except for this one, which is a little better. But on like this thumbnail, you're covering it up. You can still see it back there if you look for it, but you're covering it up with all of this text, a subscribe button on here, you know, which doesn't make any sense for a thumbnail. So what you want to do is you want to start, you know, just taking photos of your RC cars when they are, you know, in these environments, and then using those as the thing that's going to grab the attention, right? Because all you're trying to do with your thumbnail, you're not trying to explain, you know, all of these things. What you're trying to do is you're trying to make it to where if somebody's on YouTube, right, and they're scrolling around, that once they get to your video, right, like in this case, right, the guy Multi here playing the handpan, I use him as a reference a lot because I watch his content a lot, and I haven't watched this one yet, so YouTube's like, hey, here you go. But like in his case, right, because I enjoy his music and handpans, the first time I ran across him, it wasn't because I knew who he was. It wasn't because of the awesome environments that he plays this thing in. It was because of this object right here. That's how I found him. If he had a bunch of text covering everything and a bunch of text covering this thing that would help me identify that he plays this instrument, then in that case, I would have skipped right over this thumbnail, or that thumbnail that I, you know, initially clicked on, and he would have, you know, never been able to capture me there unless I just happened to, you know, be able to see it underneath the text in some way, right? You see the same thing happen on music channels, right? They're putting jazz, hip hop on here, lo-fi metal, and they're using, you know, the text more in these to help people know what kind of music it is.
Lo-fi metal.
Yeah, sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Here, you can see that this person is trying to grab attention through leveraging the cameras, right? This is pretty busy in terms of the thumbnail, but it's, you know, it's you know, working a little bit for them. But like this right here, they're using these cameras in order to grab people's attention that are into cameras, right?
Can we just talk about the Jamaican dub thumbnail for a second?
Right over here. Yeah.
That, I know that's AI generated.
Yeah.
But that looks like it goes hard.
It does. Looks like it's a good time. Yeah, it does.
No, it does.
does.
The speaker system.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I just want to see what's going on here.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, like these types of things are, you know, things that you want to make sure that you're doing with your content as well, right? Like GoPro, right? They just published this video on their new camera. And here, you know, but they are not, you know, focusing on a bunch of other stuff. They're like, here's the camera, here's the thing, you know, and everything's clean and focused on that imagery.
It looks like Ed's taking hostages over there.
It does, yeah, over here, right?
He's got Alex Hormozy tied up.
It does, that's great, yeah. But like, you know, these are the types of things that you want to make sure that you're thinking about is, you know, how are my viewers, the people that care about my stuff, how are they going to identify that this is about something that they might care about?
At a glance.
At a glance, yeah. So really, man, like things that I would experiment with here on your channel is I would experiment with like not even having like any of this text or any of that stuff on there, just like really cool shots of RC cars in these environments. I would try that because remember, you're trying to grab their attention. So basically putting the car in that environment, and then also making sure that, you know, that you can tell that it's an RC car, but I'm guessing based on what it looks like when you zoom in, you can probably tell.
Can we see what others are doing with their RC cars?
Sure.
And you don't have to put the subscribe images on your thumbnails either. You can take those off.
Let's do RC car racing. See what happens. Okay, here, because it's about racing, they're showing the tracks. They're showing the tracks. Zoom in on the RC cars.
That one, car right there. Boom,
right?
car.
Yeah, like this type of thing, right? To where it grabs your attention. Like the text is grabbing attention here too, but the car also is grabbing attention.
You don't
right?
have to think about it. You know exactly what it is.
Yep, same here on the shorts, right? Look at the shorts.
Yeah.
Car, right? These are on like Hot Wheel tracks and stuff. But, same exact thing applies there. Here, focused on the RC cars. Here, the cars. Here, track with a bunch of cars and the person in here holding the, the RC car. RC car, the cars. But you get the idea, right? So they're putting them in these environments to where, people can easily recognize them. So that recognize that it's an RC car. These are the type of things that you want to do. And one thing, because how I mentioned earlier about you leveraging the car, for the attention, one thing that both of these channels are doing is they're also like the controllers in the photo too. Yeah. So that might be something that you want to consider because that controller is just like one additive elements to where they're like, is that an RC car? They're going to look at the title, but they can also, see that additional element to make it just even more clear. What are you going to say, D?
I was going to say, could you click into his channel, Kevin? Not the one on top, but the other one with the
secret car.
Just Kevin Talbot with the big truck there in the middle.
Yeah, they're both Kevin Talbot.
I know, but the one with the truck in the middle.
Okay,
no, but one has more Kevin Talbot RC, so I think it's the second channel.
Is there something specific you're looking for?
No, I just saw the ones where he was putting himself in there as well. Like one has a hand, one has his head popping out. I was just wondering if he was using that.
Yeah, he's got 3.5 million subscribers.
I was wondering if he was using that to show like scale. Like putting a human and putting a hand in the shot to see if it was
possibly.
Yeah, I just wanted to see what he was doing with the rest of the content. But yeah, it's clear. All of them, car.
Yeah, so those are the types of things that you want to be doing. Right, because when you do that sort of thing, then it just makes it clear from the outside for the people that you are trying to reach with the content. And really grabbing that attention is one of the hardest things to do.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is because when you are on YouTube as a viewer, just like your viewers are, just like you looked at my homepage, I listen to a lot of music on YouTube. So because of that, as I'm scrolling down, you could see music. So it's not a music channel, a camera channel, a YouTube, tips type of channel, a coding, vibe coding channel thing. Like it's not broken down like that. It's music, plus mix in, some of that other stuff. So what you're competing against is other people that are doing that thing that we're talking about, where they are focusing on that imagery that's going to help their viewers identify it's about something that they care about at a glance, right? So you have to do the same if you want to be able to compete with the others.
Next.
The Real Sync is the next channel here. They upload one time per week or more, but on YouTube for less than 1 year. They do reaction, commentary, and panel discussion content. The goal of the channel is to make money. And the question is, please review my thumbnails and titles and advise how I can improve hooks to increase retention. So we do not look at video content on here for, like hooks and things like that because, copyright reasons. And, like if we play music that, we don't have the rights to, things like that. So we don't do that. But I can give you feedback on your thumbnails and titles. Okay.
Next up.
So it looks like you are having why nobody trusts relationships anymore, what women wish men understood about their emotions. Is this a guy sharing this content or a woman sharing this content? Charleston White explains why Black History must be canceled. Is this why Black men stay in survival mode? Is he serious about you shopping? Okay. So thumbnails and title wise, this looks like it's some type of reality show or something like that is kind of the vibe that I'm getting here. I don't know if you're seeing the same thing, D, but these definitely look like they are reality show type of scenes somewhere, or maybe a talk show, for this one with that stage back there. Yeah. Not sure if that's what's being offered here. Oh, no, it's not. So
they might be talking about a show.
Yeah, so it looks like what you are. Let me turn this off for everything.
Yeah, what do they say they're doing up at the top there? They're reacting to what? To real shows?
Deep conversations that connect us. Real conversations on modern Black culture.
Oh, okay. So they're not reacting to TV shows.
No.
They're using.
Yeah, so it
AI
looks like it's a
to generate-
podcast or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, is what they're doing. Is what it looks
Right.
like. Yeah, so they're just having like these conversations.
Just for reference, you see how long it took us to figure out what was going on with your channel.
Yep. Yeah, so take that into consideration, what
Yeah.
Dee just mentioned, in terms of how, it took us a while to figure that out.
Right. And if one of these thumbnails landed in my feed, I'm not going to take the time to figure out what's going on.
Yeah. So in terms of the topics that you're talking about, is this why nobody trusts relationships anymore? What women wish men understood about their emotions? Like these types of titles, I think these are okay. I think one problem that you are probably having with these is from the outside, like this looks like I'm going to click into this and I'm going to get like TV show quality stuff.
That's exactly what.
But then when I click in, I'm getting like a Zoom call, right? Or like a Google Meet or something that's going on here. So I think, that expectation of, what people are getting versus what they expect is definitely something, that might be working against you. You can see some of that, in the videos where you're getting, more views on them. You'll see that in your audience retention reports. So just in case you're not familiar, like every video on YouTube, you get audience retention reports for it that show you second by second how people are responding to your content. So I would definitely make sure that you are looking in that for the videos that are getting more views. Even on these that aren't getting a lot of views, you can look at it. But it's more impactful information if you're getting, more views when you're looking at that. But I would definitely just consider that mismatch that you're having between how it's being presented versus, what it's like once we get in here.
One thing you could test, because I understand what you're trying to do with your thumbnails. You're trying to create essentially a scene, but it's not a real scene. You don't click in and see that. One thing you might want to test is, you see how you have the three of you over on the right, you have your three little squares, is taking those three little squares and then putting them over on like the left side of the thumbnail or something. So you could create some sort of to test. I don't know if it would work or not or help in terms of clarity, but so you could have your scene over on the right, then you could have your vertical stack of people over on the left. Not too big, you don't want to take up too much space, but just so I have a instant understanding, oh, they're reacting to something. They are talking about something. Here's three people discussing this. It would make me less inclined to think that it's a...
And it would match what you get on the inside.
Right.
Yeah.
And it would make me less inclined to think I'm going to click on it and watch some TV show or a scene out of a TV show. Because that's what I want. As soon as
That's what I thought too. Yeah, it was like, these are they're like clipping stuff from TV shows and reacting to it or something like that. That's what I thought too.
You want to immediately let them know that you guys are discussing something. And I'm just not getting that from your thumbnail.
Yeah.
Little tweaks that I would test.
Yeah, so I think that's a good call that Dee was talking about. Another thing that I would do, because you asked about your hooks specifically, so another thing that I would also do is, even though there are three of you here, when this first starts, I'm going to assume that all three of you are not, talking at the same time. So because of that, I would have somebody that introduces this and just adds some type of real hook to this in terms of, if it's about why nobody trusts relationships anymore, it could be something like, you might be seeing online how, relationships are falling apart and people are having trouble getting relationships and blah, blah. In today's show, that's what we're going to be getting to the bottom of that.
Run it like a show.
And we're, and we're, I mean, you can say we're starting right now if you want to, but like, let's get into it or whatever your thing is. And then you bring in your guests and, you do the whole thing that way. I would definitely experiment with something like that. So then that way you're capturing them when they come in. You're letting them know what's going on. It's like one full screen person in there, saying like what's happening. You can be off to the side if you want, if you're going to be reviewing clips and stuff like that, just so that they can know, you're like, hey, we're going to be reviewing clips, doing this type of thing, where, others are talking about this topic, so we can really, uncover what's happening here, whatever the thing is, and then bring the guests on and then get into the rest of the content. I would try that approach.
Try testing it like a show. There are a lot of different shows out there that have a format. Can you just like skip along? I just want to make sure that we're understanding this right. Keep the volume down and just kind of like random skips across the...
Yeah, I was doing that earlier. Yeah, it's so they go, into this where they're having the conversation, same exact thing here, same exact thing here.
So they're not showing any of those clips.
Yeah, so it's like they showed something at the beginning and then it doesn't look like... I mean, it's like 14 minutes, so as I'm skipping over this, I might skip, something.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not...
Okay, I just want to make sure we're not...
I had a flash of something here.
I'm missing that.
No. Yeah.
So, like I said, you can see how we're kind of struggling to figure out what's going on here.
Yeah.
Hey, Stanley.
So next up on the list, we have I Have Comic Issues is the name of the channel. They upload 1 time per week or more. They've been on YouTube for 1 year or more. They do comic book entertainment content. The goal of the channel is to connect with others who like what I like. And the question is, once I upload my video, do I need to schedule it out 24 to 48 hours later so YouTube knows more about it and who to show it to? Is this a good idea or not? So when it comes to YouTube, when you are uploading your video, the only thing you need to wait for is to see when the tags show up for the different resolutions. Yeah, for the different resolutions that they are encoding your videos for. So once those encodings are complete, YouTube has all the information it needs on that video, and you can publish it after that. That usually, takes, a few minutes maybe when you're uploading the video, but by the time you finish getting your video description in there and setting up your end screens and your cards and double checking everything to make sure everything's spelled right, all those things, by the time you're finished with all of that, the video should be processed and ready to go unless they're having a slow day on their end. Because of that, you are perfectly fine to publish as soon as the processing is finished on YouTube side. You do not have to wait 24 to 48 hours. That is a myth when it comes to YouTube.
I wish Renee was in here.
Yeah.
Because I have a theory, and maybe Roberto knows the answer to this. I've never looked into it, but I have a theory because if I upload from a larger channel, my encodes happen within minutes. If I upload from a smaller channel, it can take a really long time.
So they also use different.
I think they send them to different servers.
Well, they use different codecs too.
Different codecs.
Yeah, so like if you look, as long as they're still doing that, so this is like a nerdy thing, but as long as they're still doing this, so if you do the stats for nerds, then you can see on some content, it will show how it's actually being encoded, and you can see
Are they sending it to different servers?
It's like different codecs.
Okay.
Yeah, so like, okay, here, we'll check this in real time.
Okay.
Just so we can see, and I'll actually compare it against that.
I've never looked into it, but I just noticed like consistently larger channels go up faster, get encoded faster. Smaller ones take significantly longer.
Yeah, they might have it all synced up now. I'm not sure, but that's how it used to be. Hold on, let me look. Yeah, so on this one, like on theirs, they are getting an AVC1 6400 1F.
Are you showing one?
And yeah, it's so small, like you're not going to be able to see it anyway. But we'll do it.
I'll make a full screen here. Maybe it will help.
Yeah, I might be able to do it here too. Yeah, so on theirs, can you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it's not coming through. Oh, because you made it full screen, I think.
Yeah, I have to go
take it out of full screen.
Okay, hold on.
Oh, you still can't see it. Like, is this zoom not showing up on your end?
No.
Oh, that's weird.
I'll go back full screen. It's okay.
Oh, I'm sharing the tab, I bet, and not the full screen. That's probably why.
That's right. If I go full screen on my laptop here, I can see it.
Yeah, so basically this one here is the AVC1 6400 1F Opus 251.
Yeah, I see the codec
mine
there.
is 251, but it's AV01 .0.5 M. So so there's that, and I think, man, I can't remember. I think there was another thing here too, but maybe it was just that for the codecs. But yeah, they do treat stuff differently in that regard.
Moral of the story is you do have to wait.
Yeah.
It might be fast, might take a little bit of time, but you need the encodes to finish.
Higher screen.
So Roberto says, I've seen my uploads process faster on my larger account, but marginally. The biggest issue is the codecs.
Yeah, and I think also like what you're throwing into it also.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if you're throwing
30
in like
frames per second versus 24 frames per second.
Versus 60.
4K,
yeah, right.
2K, 1080p. Like, what are you putting up there?
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's see.
That makes sense.
Let me check something here really quick. There we go. Yes, I was sharing the screen in the wrong way.
Okay. You're pulling it back up?
So no, it's okay.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess we can. Yeah. So
Yeah,
this is just so everybody can kind of see what it is that we're talking about here, because it was really small on the screen. So this right here.
Zoom in. Oh, there you go. Whoa. Almost.
There we go. Yeah. So this right here.
I'm gonna go full screen now.
Is what we're talking about. So you can see, because I'm on the edge, it's getting kind of jumpy because it's trying to go into the other screen. But you can see here the codec is the ABC one, and then on mine it's different. So that's the thing that we're talking about.
When I export H.265, processing is way faster than H.264, even for 4K videos. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I wish Renee was in here. We need to get to the bottom.
Add some technical clarity.
We need to get to the bottom of this. And
yeah, for something like that, I'm curious if he, because
he either knows or he could find out and let us know next time.
Yeah, yeah,
for sure.
So
he's keeping it a secret.
Next up on the list, we have Joyful Trails. Joyful Trails, they upload 1 time per week or more, been on YouTube for 1 year or more. They do bike trail rides and reviews. The goal of the channel is to have fun, and the question is, not a question, just a comment. Thanks for all the good advice that you dispense. I just reached 11,000 subscribers, and May 2026 is a new high for my channel in monthly income. High five and fist bump to you. Absolutely love that. High five. They say they just had a group ride 2 weeks ago. 150 cyclists came to South Carolina from Maine to Florida to help us celebrate 10,000 subscribers. That's awesome. I'm creating a community of like-minded people. It was great to see the core audience literally standing in front of me at the meet and greet. Now I know who I'm talking to in my videos. Thanks again for helping me stay on track. That's awesome. Yeah, glad that you're enjoying the content, and it's awesome that you're having that experience with your content as well. And I also want to just put a highlight on the fact that 150 people showing up to celebrate your 10,000 subscriber milestone. That's a big deal, right? In terms of, just them finding value in what it is that you're doing and all that stuff enough that they want to participate in that. Like that's a big deal. Like it's hard to get people to take any type of action, but that type of action to where they're literally going from like other states and stuff to come hang out and celebrate with you. That's a really big deal. So like what you're doing on your channel, people are digging it. So, so make sure you, keep giving them more of what they want, right? Yeah, because you're definitely on the right path there. If you have 150 people showing up for your celebration at 10,000 subscribers, right? You're doing awesome. Keep it up. Next up, we've got Glynabyte. Glynabyte. Hold on, let me move this here. Glynabyte does uploads 1 time per week or more. They've been on YouTube for 1 year or more. They do a gaming channel. The goal of the channel is to be a full-time content creator, and the question is, as a gaming channel, I feel like I'm doing relatively well for the first year, but what would you say would be the top 3 things someone with this age of a channel would need to double down on or concentrate on? I feel like I know one of them would be to post more frequently, but I just wanted a professional's point of view with this. So first off, in terms of the amount of time that you spend on YouTube and what it is that you need to work on based on the amount of time, the amount of time isn't the issue. The issue is like, what do you feel that you're deficient in and that you need to spend more time working on, right? Like that's the stuff that you got to focus on, because in terms of, like, okay, you've been on YouTube for a year, now do this. That doesn't really apply across the board because so many people are in so many different places. Like one person will start a YouTube channel and a year later they've got 25 subscribers. Another person will start a YouTube channel and a year later they're in a situation like yours, right? To where they have, some subscribers on the channel, 1.6 thousand, almost 2,000 subscribers on the channel. And you'll have other people that they'll start a channel and a year later they'll have, 100,000 subscribers, because they're doing something, that is, of high interest. So when it comes to the time, there isn't like a benchmark for that. What you need to think about is like, okay, what are some things that I know that I could be better at, and work on those things, right? It could be strategy. It could be a better understanding of your audience to make sure that, as you're delivering the content, you're delivering it, in the way that they are likely to respond to at the highest level. It could be just, thumbnails or, how you communicate in the videos, how you capture their attention, any of those things. But we are going to look at your channel though. So let's see what you're doing. Okay, so new video every week. You do gaming content here to have fun, entertain, and dive into games that make you think or panic. Okay. Save my colony with this massive reservoir. I'm at a housing upgrade. I built a mega housing district for my beavers. Okay, so I'm guessing this is all the same game because this beaver is in all of them, unless the beaver, no, it doesn't look like it's part of your branding. So you're leveraging this character, I guess, to bring attention to these if this character is in a game. What's going on? There's a Pirates of the Caribbean reference on this channel. They have it in one of their videos. What is going on today? Oh my goodness. Yeah, so just as a heads up, really quick, I don't know how you're using this in the video, but considering this video is about you using automation in a game, but you have this clip in here, just as a heads up, that's not fair use. So just be really careful with this sort of thing, because like when you are using content to add comedic value, things like that, that's not fair use when you're doing that. A lot of people do it on YouTube, but you can really get yourself in some hot water with that. So because of that, I would not add things like that to your videos. But State nearly killed my colony, so I fixed it. Yeah, I think your thumbnails are grabbing attention. You're following best practices in terms of like, minimal text, things like that, focusing on, I would pick a thing here, and I would either have it at the top or at the bottom, right, for this one, so that you can just focus more on, the imagery instead of their eyes having to be up here figuring it out, and then down here figuring it out. Why is that not? Oh, okay, that's why. So yeah, so I would definitely, simplify this one. But in terms of, a lot of these thumbnails, I think a lot of them are okay. I would pump up the colors on, some of these, because you're going to be competing right next to other gaming content. So I would pump up the colors on, some of this stuff. But I think, what you're doing, I think that you're definitely, after your first year in, I think that you're doing better than a lot of content creators, at that same place. So what I would do now, because, you're getting people to respond, is and I would start studying your audience retention reports, because with the views that you have enough people going through this that you can, really start to, uncover, like, okay, what are the things that I'm doing in my videos that are keeping attention? What are the things that I'm doing in my videos that make them leave? That kind of stuff. And I would just spend a lot of time looking at your audience retention reports, trying to figure out the different things that you're doing that people are and are not responding to. And another thing that I would do also is, I'm not familiar with this game, but when it comes to the topics that you're talking about within the game, some of these, here tried automation, but I found out I'm an idiot. This mistake nearly killed my colony. My colony was a mess, so I built this. You're doing it again here with the popular show. I just saw it. Here it is. Yeah, be really careful with that. Here, this new colony has one impossible goal. But basically, however you're segmenting these, with how you're publishing content, I would start, connecting the dots in terms of like, okay, with these types of videos, we're doing this type of thing. With this type of video, we're doing these types of things, and then start grouping them together to start figuring out like, okay, what, like, do people respond to these more than they do these? If so, like, in what ways do they respond more? Like, if we do this type of video on this game, does it drive more subscribers or engagement, or do we get more ad revenue, or, whatever it is that you're focused on for that moment in time, compared to these, right? So I would definitely start picking, organizing your content in that way, using YouTube's grouping feature and analytics to start, just uncovering what it is that they actually, want the most of from you and what they typically respond to most. So you can just make sure that you're doing more of that. And then from there, just spending a lot of time on your, the actual ideas themselves, which you're already getting, a response, but spending more times on the ideas just to make sure that, you're putting out some cool stuff, which, people are already responding, and their retention. Those are things that I would just spend the time on right now. But yeah, to answer your question though, with being, a year in, yeah, like you're doing okay for being a year in. Just keep at it. Next up on our list here, we've got Just Ask Pam. And really quick, before we answer Pam's question, I do want to remind you that if you are, or not remind you, but I want to let you know, if you are just joining the stream, what we are doing here is we are answering YouTube questions. So if you have a question about anything it is that you're doing on YouTube, if you want feedback on something on your channel, anything like that, you can put the link. It's free to do. You can put the link in the form that is linked in the chat right now. And it's linked either at the top or the bottom of the chat. You can click on that. It'll take you to that form, and you can put, the information about your channel, and then we will get it pulled up here on the stream today. Shark Scrapper in the house is up, dude. Hope you are doing great. Welcome to the stream. So just Ask Pam. They upload when they have time, been on YouTube for 1 year or more. The type of channel is natural health, anti-aging tips, and encouragement through scripture. I have so much experience in these areas. I would love to be a modern day Dear Abby in this area. Goal of the channel is to be a full-time content creator. And the question is, I have very little time, but would love to do mostly live videos. Am I able to reuse those videos to make long-form content? What is the best rule if I do reuse it? Do I need to delete the original live? If I leave the live version, how much do I need to edit a long version in order to not get red flagged? Any other advice since you are a pro on going live? So what you can do with your live streams is you can, clip them up. You can use Opus Clip, or you can do it manually, whatever you decide to do. But you can clip those up into videos. But the thing is you want to make sure that anything that you are publishing out of that live stream, that it is a good enough standalone video. So sometimes that might require you adding, something to the beginning of it. It might require you adding something to the end of it. It might require you to, edit it a little bit more creatively, something like that, in order to make it a good standalone video. When it comes to long form content, depending on your live streams and how you do everything, you might need a little bit of editing for it. You might need a lot of editing depending on, what you're doing. But the idea is to take, that content that you're using in your live stream, if you're going to be publishing it to your, main channel as content, and you just, find the best of the best there. And then you offer that through turning it into regular content. In terms of, how much do you need to change it? I would not download the live stream and then just, put it up as the live stream. If you take, clips out of that live stream, then you're transforming that live stream content into something else, and you're offering it in a different format. And that's perfectly okay when it comes to YouTube and how they look at that stuff. So because of that, just, make sure that you are being mindful more. And this is what YouTube cares about too. Be mindful the most about the viewer experience and think, okay, I'm not just clipping stuff out, just throwing up, like just whatever. I know this particular part, and I manufacture this part during my live stream because I know this part's going to make a good video. And then I do it again here in the live stream, and then I do it again here in the live stream, so that I know that I have these good parts of the live stream that would make good standalone videos. And depending on how many people you have in your streams, let me take a look. Another thing that you can do also is you can also, hold on real quick, let me check here. Yeah, so with your live streams, like currently, you got, 53 views here, 165 views here, 55 views here, 79, views here. So with this, another thing that you could do is just be upfront with your viewers in your live stream and say, hey, I'm also making some videos out of this. So from time to time during the live stream, I might, say like an intro or a hook, because I know that this next thing I'm going to be talking about is going to be something that I'm going to use as a video on my main channel. So because of that, or not on my main channel, but on my, as a, standalone video, and you can literally add the beginning of the video and then do your, add a hook, a real hook, and then add the, do the rest of it like you would normally do. And then at the end, you can also, if you wanted to, it makes it a little bit weird for the live stream, but 56 views, it's okay. So you can also do it to where, you can add the ending too, to where you recommend additional content for people to watch. But one thing, because, your last live stream was 8 months ago. So if you are going to be, taking these live streams and chopping them up, it's fine. But I would try to get some type of flow together in terms of, I am, doing my live streams. Then when my live stream's over, then, I pass it off to an editor. I download it myself, whatever. And then I, start working on that, and I get videos scheduled to go out, and, so you can just start publishing on a regular basis and, doing all of that. Sorry, your live was 6 days ago. Sorry about that. I was looking at the video content. Sorry about that. But yeah, like on the lives, Yeah, 90 views, 19 views, 95, 38. So keep in mind with those interruptions that I'm talking about, like saying that you're going to, like letting your viewers know that you're going to do a hook real quick and stuff like that. Some people find it interesting. Some people might find it annoying. So because of that, just watch your numbers while you're streaming and see if, those things, impact the viewership at all. Some people will find it fun. So if they're finding it fun, it's not a big deal. But if you do find a lot of people leaving during that part where you're saying the hook real quick, which I can't imagine, that they would really do, but if they do, then you'll have to come up with something else to where you, after the stream is complete, you do a second recording. And that second recording in your streaming software would be you just saying that hook or saying the hooks for the different parts that you were going to do, or you could do it before the stream if you know the things that you're going to be talking about. So a lot of different options for you there. Yeah, the challenge when it comes to long form content is that, or live streams and then converting them into long form content, is that, it can be challenging even with edited content to hold people's attention, over 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 10 minutes. So, because of that, you also want to make sure that as you're editing the replay version, that you're asking yourself, like, okay, if somebody were to come into this and, because they weren't live, so does this feel like a live stream experience that is being repurposed, or does this feel like, a piece of video content that somebody put up? And the end goal is that you want the repurposed content to feel like a piece of content that, that somebody put up. iPhone Chris, thanks for the super chat, man. Appreciate it.
Super chat.
Oh, you haven't been using streaming software. You're just going straight to YouTube. Okay. Yeah, so when it comes to that, like one of the things that you have the option for is, there's devices that you can get. Like we use one here called an ATEM Mini, and on that ATEM Mini, what it does is it has an option. I mean, it's like I think they're like $300 or $400 for the version that we're using in this location. But basically, with that, what you can do is you can connect a hard drive to it, and you can just hit a button to record, and it records everything to that external drive, while it's also streaming at the same time. So you can actually dictate when it starts and stops, which is cool. So if you're just, hanging out, having conversations with people in the, that are participating, then, you wouldn't be recording. But as soon as you get into content mode where you're doing the content part of the stream, then that's where you would hit that, hit that button and make sure that you're recording all of that stuff so you get that higher quality. You can also do it on your computer, depending on the strength of your computer, to where you use a service like OBS or Meld. And with them, you can download the, uncompressed version of your stream directly to your computer. So as you are streaming, it's also recording, and then you can download that file to your computer. But the problem with that is it is really labor intensive on your computer. So you need to have a strong computer in order to do that. Then there's other alternatives, like, for example, here, we stream, currently I'm using StreamYard. There's like a sync problem with StreamYard, so I'm not sure how much longer we're going to be using it. But we do use StreamYard. I'm just kind of waiting for them to fix that. But with this, they also have as part of the plan that you can also record it to their backend, and then you can download it from them later. And then there's things that you can do, like with Opus Clip, for example, where you can just take your live stream and you can take the URL, drop it into Opus Clip, who is a sponsor, of this stream, but the channel really. But basically, when you take that that link and you put it there, then their system uses AI to go find what it thinks is the best clips based on how you have everything set up in it, and then you can take those and you can edit them farther if you want, because they give you the option to download like a Premiere file, or I think you can do it with DaVinci Resolve and in Final Cut, I believe, as well. So you have all those different kinds of options when it comes to your live streams. So next up on the list here, we have Slay Went Walking. Slay Went Walking.
If you're enjoying the show, remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend right now.
Slay Went Walking. Uploads 1 time per week or more. Been making videos for 1 year or more. They do hiking trail music videos. The goal of the channel is to connect with others who like what they like. And the question is, metrics are up, trending, but growth is irregular. And they say my content is not reaction-based. It's literally the trail from end to end in a time warp. So I'm not sure what the question is here. You just say metrics are up, but growth is irregular. So I'm not sure what the question is here. Yeah, I'm not sure what the question is here, so we'll move on to the next one. So next up, we have the Real Sync is the next question here. The Real Sync uploads 1 time per week or more, been on YouTube for less than 6 months. They do commentary, panel discussions, and reaction content. Goal of the channel is to make money. And the question is, help with thumbnails and titles after my content pivot. Okay, interesting. So you changed the direction of the channel. Let's take a look and see what you're doing. Oh, we pulled you up already. Okay, yeah. So we already we already had your channel up here. Okay, so we'll skip this one. And next up we have, I'm not going to say that, but it's Donkey is the second part there. They do daily content. They do funny cartoon animals with robot voices. The goal of the channel is to be a full-time creator. And they say, can you help my channel get more subscribers? So in terms of, getting people to subscribe to your channel, that is going to be on you and the people that are, interacting with your content. When it comes to YouTube, you have to be making content. Like if you want subscribers on YouTube, you have to be making content that people find value in some way. That value can be, that they're really entertained by it. It can be that you're teaching people how to do stuff. It can be that you're inspiring people, that you're motivating people, anything like that. Like any type of real value that people get out of your content, you got to be able to give them that. And if you can give them that, you can do it consistently, you can keep showing up for them. That's how you get more subscribers, right? And then also, Loris88 says to get more subscribers, ask, right? That also works, to where you ask. But when you ask, you also have to attach that ask to good content. So if somebody's watching your content, you ask, but the content isn't any good, they're not going to subscribe anyway. Like you can ask them all day long, but they're not going to subscribe. How you ask also matters. So for example, if you start your video and you ask right there, you're going to cause people to just leave the video. If you have a hook and then you ask, you're interrupting the viewer experience, right? It can work, but you're interrupting the viewer experience there, and you might lose some viewers, in that moment, but that can be okay. But if just somewhere in the video, you drop in that ask in a way that's not interruptive into the video. This is why you see a lot of people just use a little graphic that slides up, says, hey, subscribe. It has a little animation, and then it goes away. It's why you see that so much, because people will use that as the way to, remind people to subscribe. But basically, when you do those types of things, that can cause people to subscribe as well. But at the end of the day, the root of all of that and the core of it all is that, people need to be enjoying the content. They're not going to subscribe just to help you out. They're going to subscribe because they're enjoying the content and they want more, right? So because of that, you have to be making content that people respond to.
What's up with the pirates, man?
Dude, yeah. So basically, like I did a hover over the thumbnail, and the pirate from Pirates of the Caribbean. Can't remember his name, but the
Calazar,
the guy from the Black Pearl. I can't remember his name.
Not
Even if you said it, I don't know if I would know. It's not Johnny Depp. It's the older guy.
Yeah,
but he's
Black Pearl.
Yeah, him. Yep.
Yeah,
that was good. Yeah.
What was his name? Oh man, it wasn't Calazar. What was his name?
Even if you said it, I wouldn't know.
Yeah. Somebody. What's his name?
Yep.
Captain Barbosa.
Blackbeard. Barbosa. Yep, that's it. Yep, Barbosa. Yep.
Captain Barbosa.
Yep. Yep.
He was a great character.
So Crangdom Divergent says, I deleted my channel due to the fact that I don't want to deal with swatting and getting swatted, so I deleted my channel.
That's unfortunate, man.
That is unfortunate, and the reason for that is because, 99% of the times, you're not going to have to worry about that at all. If you're like a big streamer or something like that, and people can watch you because you're doing IRL streams, that's where that tends to happen more than others, where people are doing IRL streams, and then people do that sort of thing so that they can watch it happen during that IRL stream. But if you're doing normal stuff, then yeah, I wouldn't even worry about that.
If you're only streaming from home, then there is no reason for people to know where you're at,
right,
unless you show people where you're at.
Right.
I would never drop a pin to a place that I made videos in or
right,
a place I live stream from. and just be like, here, internet,
Right.
I'm right here.
And that's the thing with the IRL streamers, because they're just out walking around.
Are they an IRL
all this
account?
stuff? Yeah,
Is that what
I'm
you
not
do?
sure they
Oh.
deleted the stuff. I'm not sure.
Yeah, what a terrible thing.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know what the legality of
From
that
the
is.
guy that was talking about hating on people and like clicking into videos and then backing out of them. Yeah,
Listen,
that's hate too, though. Like they're two different forms of.
Yeah, but that's
But
hate.
I think the swatting thing is like hate mixed with entertainment, because they're like, oh my god, this is gonna be great.
yeah, but that's
Right,
dangerous.
and then they get them. Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah, police
totally.
kicking your door down, coming in.
Right.
If you reach for the wrong thing, you're dead.
Right, yeah.
Especially
yeah,
in
it's a big
America.
deal. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah. He reached for his phone.
Yep.
78 bullets
Mm-hmm.
later.
Yep. Right. Hey, Roberto, I think you're on a little bit of a delay
Barbosa.
here. I think
Yep, that's
you're
him.
about 2 minutes behind Roberto on the thing here.
The Black Pearl.
So next up, okay, we did the donkey channel here. Hey, and by the way, if you are
What did I miss?
by the way, if you are just showing up in the stream, what we're doing is we are looking at YouTube channels. We're giving tips on things they can do better. We're answering YouTube questions, all that stuff. So if you have a question about anything it is that you're doing on YouTube, you can go to the form that's pinned here in the chat. It's at the bottom or top of the chat, and you can add your channel or questions over there. And if you're watching this from somewhere that is not YouTube, then you can go to nickniman.com/ask, and that will redirect you right to that same exact form that we're taking these questions from.
Yeah, before we move on, because we're talking about swatting, if you're doing IRL streams, they're going to figure it out.
Yeah. Sometimes people do it at people's houses too. Like, if they figure out where somebody lives, like that happens too. Like, it doesn't happen as much, but it does happen though.
Yeah. Just take a few minutes as you're setting up accounts and you're choosing locations. I mean, you have to choose a location for, getting into the partner program. But in terms of your public facing information, just think through what you're putting out there to the world.
Yeah, I've got I think a video, maybe 2 videos on my channel about safety for content creators, and I talk about that kind of stuff and talk about, like, if you're live streaming or if you're vlogging or something like that, don't just walk out your front door, because it'll show your address, show the front of your house, things like that. Like, be careful so that you're not giving away too much of the area that you're, in. Make sure you're covering up, if you're doing content where there's like packages laying around, or you're doing unboxings, things like that. Make sure you cover up your mailing addresses or your mailing labels, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Envelopes laying on the table while you're sitting here making a video. Make sure that those are covered. Yeah, like a lot of stuff there.
I still have Daniel Battaglia still has his on his wall, but my YouTube play button is also in the box.
When are you guys going to open those up?
We haven't coordinated that yet.
You guys got to work that out. Like,
I'm going to take responsibility.
It's been so long now that it's like...
But it's kind of a thing. Like, mine's in a box in the background and his is in the box.
Yeah.
I don't know if we should open them.
Right, yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? It's gone so long that it might be better to leave them in the box.
Might be.
But, I'm taking responsibility for it.
All right.
But I took black tape and I put it over all the identifying information on, because it's in the background. And even though there's a little bit of depth of field going on with the camera, a little bit of blur back there, I don't know what somebody's able to do with maybe not today.
Well, you're in like a completely different spot now, so it doesn't even matter.
Still, but but let's just say 3 years from now, there's some new AI tool that comes out that says, within 2 seconds flat, we can unblur any picture, zoom into 1,000,000%. And then it's like, it's going to zoom in on everything and see everybody's addresses and all the little notes they have sitting around. Like, that's probably coming.
Yeah.
So anything I leave out like that, I cover it. Yeah, I have black gaff tape and I cover everything.
Yeah, in the what do you say? Oh yeah, it's nice. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Roberto's caught up
we are.
now,
We're talking play buttons now. Yep.
Yeah, but just take a few moments. Think about what you're doing, making sure location services are turned off on certain apps, making sure you're not tagging your location when you're out and about, if privacy is a concern.
Yeah.
And my thought about this is always, you can't hide everything.
Right.
Like, okay, you're obviously in Texas or, we're in Thailand.
Right.
But come get me. That's what I'm trying to say. No.
Don't. I'm here too. Yeah, please don't.
I'm going to drop this address right now.
Yeah.
No. What was I going to say? You don't know what's going to happen with your channel. Even if you have a new channel today, you don't know where you're going to be in 5 years or 10 years. You might be the next Mr. Beast and you don't know it yet. You might be the next Mark, whatever. You might be the next thing 10 years from now.
Right.
You don't know how big you're going to get.
Yep.
And you can't hide everything from everyone, but you don't have to make it easy
Right.
at the same time. So just take a few extra steps, watch privacy, watch location tracking with the apps that you're using when you're posting content. Yeah, just be careful.
Yeah. Yeah, be careful out there, folks.
Be careful.
Giratana Goober is the next channel here. What do you think they do, D?
What is it?
Giratana Goober.
It better be a pirate channel.
No, but what's your prediction on what this channel does?
They're probably a gaming channel.
Okay.
With a name like that. And really quick, Just Ask Pam says, what is swatting? Swatting happens during live streams where people find out where a live streamer is and they call the police and make up some reason that something's happening at this house because they want to watch the police essentially kick their door down or show up at this person's property while they're live streaming.
Yep.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
And I'm not in the U.S., so I don't know what the laws are. Like if you if you call in to SWAT somebody,
Yep.
I mean, if they can track that back, surely you can be prosecuted for
I'm
that.
sure, yeah.
You should be.
Yeah. I hope.
But it's dangerous. It's playing a dangerous game because sometimes the cops come in. Streamers got their headphones on or whatever. I've seen clips before where people get swatted and the cops come in, guns drawn. Like that, man. Can you imagine that?
Yeah, it'd be horrible.
Yeah.
Absolutely horrible.
Be safe out there.
Yep.
Renee
Does
Ritchie
swatting
has
help with
arrived.
views?
Renee Ritchie in the house. What's up, man? Hope you're doing great. Nice to see you in here. He says, happy day. Mandalorian and Grogu was super fun. I agree. Yeah, I agree. We were actually talking about that on the way in today. Yeah, we both enjoyed it a lot.
It was fun.
Yeah.
I think they missed some opportunities.
Yeah.
It was fun. I enjoyed it thoroughly from beginning to end.
Yep.
It could have been great, but it was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a good time.
Yeah. I probably wouldn't watch
Yeah,
it again.
I don't get the people that are just destroying it online.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
You kind of know what you're getting.
Right,
I did,
right.
but they missed some opportunities.
Yeah.
But it was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun. Hey, Renee, we have a question for you. When channels, we were talking about this earlier.
He's like, man, give me a break. I just showed up.
We-
Like,
yeah.
what are you on, D?
You
Yeah.
were summoned. You were summoned to them in live. Your name was chanted 3 times. Our question is, Renee, when people upload a video, they seem to get encoded at different speeds and different codecs are used. And Roberto notices this as well, and I've noticed it. When I upload from my larger account, the videos go up fast. They get encoded within minutes. But when I upload from a smaller account, the encoding takes a really long time.
Would you say new account instead of smaller account?
Newer or small.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say the difference is probably 30 minutes in terms of, it might take 2 minutes or 3 minutes max on my DNIMN account, but then other little small things that I play around with, it might take 30 minutes. Same encoding, same video size, same everything. So I just didn't know if you had an answer to that as to why certain things might get encoded. Do you prioritize uploads for certain types of channels or certain sizes?
So next up, we've got, we're back on the Goober. We completely went off the rails here on the Giratana Goober here.
Yes, has to be a gaming channel.
And Giratana Goober they're getting ready to start their channel. They don't have a channel yet. So they're still thinking about what videos they're going to make. The goal of the channel is to have fun.
I almost said that sounds like somebody who doesn't have a channel yet.
Really?
Seriously.
That would have been good.
Yeah.
But you didn't. You missed it.
I missed the opportunity.
So the question is, I was doing some search on Reddit, and there was one post that said, if you want to reuse your old YouTube channel for the same content with already enough subscribers for monetization, that you should use it as you are skipping the grind for subscribers. You only need to focus on gaining the views. My question is it even worth using an old channel to focus on trying to get views for monetization? As I even saw some videos saying the same thing about you should do that. So here's kind of the golden rule when it comes to like older channels and stuff like that, is if you're going to be publishing something that, like, one, if the channel's still been getting views in the background, while you've been away, and you are going to be publishing content that audience that's interacting with that content would be likely to also enjoy, then that old channel can be okay. But if you're going to be going in a completely different direction, you're offering something completely different, then in that case, it's best to start a new channel. And the reason for that is because when you start that new channel and you publish videos, YouTube has a lot in place right now to help their system best understand who to show the new content to, right? So because of that, they'll give you like extra impressions in different places on YouTube and stuff like that, so that their system can start to learn who responds to this content, right? So when you do that on an old channel, then they have, you know, old users on that channel that they're, you know, trying to tap into to learn how, you know, they are responding to what it is that you're doing. So because of that, it's good if you're going to be doing something different to, you know, just start doing that thing on a different channel. And yes, you do have, you know, where you're going to, you know, you still have to go through the grind for subscribers, you know, that sort of thing. But the difference is you're putting yourself in a better position there. Because then instead of having to kind of fight against the current and being like, okay, I'm trying to take this channel that was this and turn it into this, instead, you know, you're just starting from scratch and you're like, okay, every video on this channel is going to be a great fit for this type of viewer. And I'm going to publish on a regular basis for these viewers. I'm going to learn what these viewers respond to, and I'm just going to do everything for this type of viewer instead of, you know, that type of viewer that you have on the old channel.
So Renee answered. He says, "I actually don't know the answer to this. It's rare that we stump Renee."
Yeah.
He says, "My uninformed guess would be that if there's high demand on video, it increases bandwidth, and so transcoding it to more efficient sizes is higher priority."
All right.
So you're saying it could be the demand at the moment, like how much is coming into this, how much is being ingested right now into the system. Therefore, we need to prioritize because there's too much coming in, or there's so much.
Well, I'm interpreting that as that if there's a high demand on a video, so like if it's like if their system knows that when that creator publishes videos that they get a lot of views on them, that it encodes them in a way that makes it more efficient to publish those videos.
It's because you're uploading it and it's understanding the topic. They're seeing the creator that's putting it out there.
So it's like the potential for this is probably pretty good.
It's right.
So let's make sure we encode it.
Yeah.
So they're thinking more server efficiency.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that does make a ton of sense.
Yeah, so he follows up and says, on a bigger channel, more people are watching the new uploads, so making them more efficient file sizes save more bandwidth is my guess.
All right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah, if you're ever in a situation where you can ask someone what the answer is to that, please let us know.
Yep.
But that makes total sense.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have just winged it and said that this is what it is, and I would have totally believed you.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, Roberto too. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Good answer.
So, well, there we go. There we go. Yeah. It at least makes sense, right? Like we don't know, but like it at least makes sense,
and
right?
Renee,
So that's good.
One thing you missed out on today, Renee, is we've had multiple channels pop up that were pirates.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a weird theme that happened here for
like
it was two actually, but yeah.
Like, almost like it's International Pirate Day or something.
Almost. Yep, almost.
Yeah, really weird.
Except it's not. But yeah, almost though.
Well, Pirates Code, maybe it is.
Oh, that's true. That's true, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is Pirates Code? Is that kind of like Fight Club where you just don't talk about being a pirate? Is that what it is?
Pirates
Okay.
Code, yeah.
All right.
I mean, if you're not a pirate, you don't talk about it.
All right. I guess we should call Peter McKinnon on this one. He probably has a pretty strong, perspective on this, right?
Yo, Pete, what's up with the Pirate Code today?
So the question for this one, they don't have a channel or channel name or anything like that. They just came through here, completely anonymous. And they just have a question, though, and they say, how does the length of a video attribute towards views? For example, long video, 30 minutes, less clicks, shorter video, 8 minutes, more clicks, question marks. So what YouTube is looking for is they're looking for satisfaction. It doesn't matter if the video is 3 minutes like Ryan George publishes. Sometimes, right, some of his videos are like, 2 or 3 minutes long and they still get tons of views on them. Or if a video is an hour long, what YouTube is looking for is, yes, they want the watch time and they want the time on platform, but at the end of the day, what YouTube cares about is, are people enjoying this content? So it's not that they're just measuring like, okay, how long is this video? And if this video is 30 minutes, let's make sure we show it to more people just because it's longer. That's not the game. The game is, if we show this video to people and we're getting all of the signals based on all the ways that people are interacting with this content, is the system detecting that people are having a good experience with that content and that they're satisfied with that experience? If the answer is yes, doesn't matter if the video is 3 minutes or if the video is 30 minutes, YouTube is still going to show that content to people that are the most likely to enjoy it, and to continue doing that until they exhaust those audiences of people that are enjoying it at that competitive level. So in terms of, the long video for 30 minutes versus the 8-minute video, those things, it's all about satisfaction. So, that's why like a lot of people get caught in the weeds when it comes to all this. And yes, there is tons of nuance to all of, like every aspect of YouTube. However, at the end of the day, if you focus on understanding, the people that you're trying to reach with your content and making content that they care about and enjoy and can consume, those are the things that are going to end up, moving the needle. So, and your good ideas, those other aspects of being a creator. But like something to think about is, when it comes to the length of your videos, depending on who you're reaching, you might be reaching somebody that is like, let's say that you are trying to reach like, let's say busy parents, right? Like busy single parents. Well, in that case, you probably...
Who are pirates.
Who are pirates, right? Yeah.
Busy
single pirate parents. Yeah. So if that's what you're
awesome
doing,
right there.
then in that case, if you're, publishing a video, like a 30-minute video in the afternoon for those people to watch, probably isn't going to yield the best results, right? Maybe if they're watching it after they put the kids to bed, maybe in that case, that video might be more appropriate for them. But these are some of the things that you have to think about when you're making content is, for the people that I'm trying to reach, like, what is it that I'm actually giving to them? And, do they prefer longer or shorter videos? So, of course, you can experiment with this on your own, which you should do, but you should also look at other channels that are making similar content to yours and they're targeting the same type of viewer that you are, and look at their channel and be like, hey, what are they doing on the ones that are successful? Are they making shorter videos, longer videos? And if that's what they're doing, let me look at other channels that are similar to theirs and see if everybody's doing that. And if so, then in that case, that probably works because it seems to work for all of them. And you can use that as a starting point. And then from that starting point, then you can experiment on your own and say, okay, well, maybe they're all offering this, right? So I'm going to do that because it's working for them and see if I can get people to respond to that. But then once I get people to respond to that, I'm also going to look at it and say, are they doing these videos of this length because that's, just what they do and they haven't tried other lengths? If so, let me try something different just to see if this audience responds to it, because they might. And those people just might not have done it. They might not have done the shorter versions yet, or they might not have done the longer versions yet, right? So just thinking about it through that lens and thinking, when I publish this, or the people that I'm trying to serve with this content, are those people going to, enjoy this, and is this length appropriate for them, right? Other things that matter too, like if you're targeting, TV viewers, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I've watched Ryan George 3-minute videos on my TV too, right? Yeah. But, you also need to think about, are you watching people that are like me when I'm watching YouTube in those moments to where, I'm laying in bed and I'm, sitting there just kind of flipping through, looking for things where I don't have to, put much energy into it so I can fall asleep while I'm watching it. Or am I sitting in my living room where I'm looking for something to watch because I'm trying to kill the next, 2 hours? In that case, I'm probably going to lean on something longer that I can just kind of sit back and enjoy without having to constantly engage with my TV, right? So just thinking about those types of things when it comes to the people that you're reaching and how they might be consuming your content is how you navigate those types of decisions on, on how long your videos should be. And then through experimentation too, right? Like experimentation, checking out other channels that do similar content. Really good question though. D, will you take this for 1 second?
Yeah, sure will. I will be taking questions from the chat, and I see one here that says it's from AB Cam MYM that says, "Do you think it's more difficult for YouTubers getting views who started in the last 5 years?" You mean if you started 5 years ago, is it more difficult for you to get views now? No, not necessarily. I mean, each video lives on its own. It's its own opportunity. So every video upload it's its own thing, right? You also have your body of work that can contribute to that to move your channel forward. But, and if you opened a channel up when the world was shut down and everybody was stuck inside, you probably saw a lot of growth really fast. But that growth has balanced out now. Like people don't see that anymore. A lot of people are talking about that. So no, I think opportunity is still there. You just have to make the good videos. Roberto says, D, what do you think of my new software creator score? Roberto, I have not seen it. My man, send me an email. Hook me up. Let me see it. Let me take a look at it. It's just as hard now. Yeah, it's always hard. It's always hard. But when everybody was inside, You know, live streams were thriving. You could upload videos that would just get significantly more views than you would normally get before the world shut down. And now that everybody's enjoying their life again, like it's kind of went back to the way it was before. I mean, there's nothing easy about any of this. And yes, I'm going to agree with Roberto, and I think it's actually a little bit easier in terms of production too. Like we have so many tools that are available to us now that help us work more efficiently, help us research. So many people are using AI thumbnails now. People are using AI to edit their videos. Like I just think we're living in a great time. So I think in that sense, it's easy. I'm a big fan. We talked about this a little bit earlier. I'm a big fan of content where it's just somebody sitting down talking, and where that might not have worked as well a while ago. I think Dry Creek Wrangler School is a great example of this. Let me share this. There's another young man. His name is Jet Franzen that had just popped up out of nowhere. Let me share my screen really quick. It's another one of those.
Hey, Roberto says, do you want me to send a Facebook DM? You're not even on Facebook, are you?
No, I don't have access to that account. You can Twitter works. So let me turn this off and show it here. So this guy.
What's better, fast or animated?
This young man, Jet Franzen. He's another one of those accounts to where it reminds me of Dry Creek Wrangler School. He's just a guy, young man. He sits in he was in his parents' basement. He's not making thumbnails. I mean, look at this. He's just sitting in his parents' basement talking about what's on his mind.
Yep.
And he's absolutely crushing. He's letting YouTube choose the thumbnail. Like he's not doing the extra things, but he's nailing it with the idea. He's nailing it with the concept. He's nailing it with the topic. And this is the kind of content that I don't want to call it low effort, but Nick and I were talking about this earlier.
It breaks the mold of what you typically do.
Yeah. It stands out because everybody's so, you're making all the thumbnails and you have the sets and you have all this high polished stuff, which has its place. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you see something pop up and it's just like a dude in his basement with like a title that you go, oh, that's interesting. Like I'm more compelled to click on that.
Yeah.
I'm more
shows the power of good. Yeah, and Doug mentions it here too. Shows the power of a good topic. Also,
no. It all starts with the idea. If you have a good idea, a good topic, a good conversation starter, and you can articulate that in the title, and the video is good, and you deliver, like man, that's it. The idea. There's no amount of AI. There's no amount of great thumbnail design or editing that will save a bad idea.
Yeah.
Like you can hire the best editors and try to polish the thumbnail to death and A/B test.
That's also the problem of going too niche. Also,
sure,
yeah,
but it all starts with a great idea. So if you can take that idea and you can articulate it well, and you can put it in a video and keep the viewers watching, man, that's in a nutshell. That's what it's all about, right there.
Yeah, and Roberto says right here, he says, you can say low effort, high authenticity. Yeah, with channels like this, I think the interesting thing is, like with the unicorn channels like that, is, people will look at them and they'll say that they're breaking all their rules, but in reality, they are breaking some of the rules in terms of, best practices, but
they're hitting the main
but they're
thing.
so strong
Yeah.
in the things that matter the most that they can still do the thing, which is great.
Yeah, I'm
so strong in the skill set to just communication and storytelling and, great ideas and topic selections and, all of that. Yeah, they last. They definitely last. Just ask Pam.
Yeah, and he's uploading every day. This young man is uploading every day. And Dry Creek Wrangler School, they were just grinding it out too. Same thing. Guy just sitting there, usually smoking a cigar with a cowboy hat. He's in a barn or some sort of a rustic setting.
Yeah, he also had more of a, like with the kid in the basement.
He has a look.
He had the relatable thing and sort of like, yeah, he's just another younger dude, just like hanging out at home.
He's a young man, yeah.
And then you have, like with Dry Creek Wrangler School, he also looks like a character.
Yeah,
so he's
looks, a cowboy.
Yeah, so when you click on the video, it's this whole like, whoa, what's going on here? This is like a whole thing happening here. Yeah.
Super authentic.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, that's what I'm into. So I think we're at a stage where you can do that now. Like if you're able to come up with those ideas and those topics and articulate them well, we're at the stage where you can literally just sit down, grab your phone, set it up, hit record, and just say it. And these guys aren't editing. They're just sitting down and nailing it in one take. Like if you can do that, I think YouTube's easier than ever. Once you can figure out what people are going to respond to, and that's the trick.
Yeah.
You know, how can you get people to respond?
Queen Me 247 says, my first time catching live. I might have to start catching more of these. Welcome to the live stream. Glad that you are enjoying the content here.
Yep.
So next up on the list, we have Anime Edit City. Anime Edit City uploads every other day. They've been on YouTube for less than 1 month. They do edit content. The goal of the channel is to connect with others who like what they like. The question is, what is a good way to make people aware of the channel? So this is a really good question, and it's where like a lot of content creators start, right? So like when it comes to like software and stuff, people can build it, but then, you know, the thing is like, okay, it's built, now what, right? So you made a video, now what? When it comes to YouTube, right? Same thing. So, so when it comes to how to get attention to your video, the best way to make people aware of your channel is to make content around topics that people care about, right? That you can already prove by just looking around YouTube and seeing, you know, that people are doing. Making content around topics that people care about and just creating a great experience for people with the content. So those are both learned things in terms of, you know, some people will pick them up faster than other people. But you mentioned that you're a younger person here, which is cool. So you're probably a lot more tuned into this than, you know, somebody that is much older and didn't grow up with YouTube and stuff like that. So
Did you
because
just
of that,
eyeball me when you said that?
no, I just looked over this way.
Okay.
Yeah, but it wasn't directly at you though.
Yeah.
But basically, you know, the best way to make people aware of your channel is to learn how to make really good content on YouTube. And then once you do that, YouTube's going to handle everything else.
Yeah.
So, you know, you don't have to go and share it in Discord and share it in, you know, these like, you know, weird sub groups and things like that. You don't have to do any of that stuff. All you have to do is put 100% of your energy into learning how to make good content for a certain type of viewer on YouTube and then consistently delivering that. And if you do that, then YouTube will handle everything else. So just focus all of your energy on learning how to come up with good ideas, how to package those ideas through the thumbnail and title in a compelling way, and how to make it to where if somebody clicks on whatever it is that you made, that they really enjoy the content that you published. And there's a lot involved in all of that, but that's, you know, at the core of it all, like that's the stuff that matters.
Speaking of older people and the divide here between the older people and the younger people, that's the thing I absolutely love about social media in general, is it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how young you are. It doesn't matter how old you are. If you have something interesting to share and talk about, it doesn't matter.
There's people that start channels at 80 years old that
Yeah.
get like, you know, big followings and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah,
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, you're never too old and you're never too young. But when
Yep,
it
and
comes
it's
to
never
being
too
young,
late.
you need to be old enough for the terms of service. Right. You need to be old enough for
Yeah.
the terms of service.
Yeah, I wonder if YouTube's going to do that on the top end too. So it's like, yeah,
it's
you got to
all
be,
right, you
know,
guys. After at 90, we noticed that you guys are just rambling and talking nonsense. So we're gonna cap it. So what is it now? 13.
yeah, terms of service is like
Yeah.
13 to 90.
13
yeah.
to 90. You're allowed to upload content on YouTube. Yeah, I just think
There's
that's
some
amazing.
people at 90 though that are sharper than we are now.
100%.
So like, you know, so yeah, so they should
100%.
definitely, you know, not have those
I
limits.
just think that's amazing. Like, and I get asked all the time, and you see it online. You're like, "Am I too old?
Right.
Am I too old?" No.
Right.
You're in your prime. Like, start.
Nope.
Yeah, you're never too old.
Republic of Me right here. They said that their mom is 83 and has 2,000 subscribers on her cooking channel.
That's awesome.
Yep. Yeah,
Yeah,
Roberto
exactly.
mentions the biggest YouTuber at one point was a World War II veteran.
Yeah.
Yep. Wild. Absolutely wild.
It's-
It's great
you know-
though. It's amazing.
It is hard to be interesting at 13, but that doesn't mean that you can't tell a compelling story from your point of view.
Right.
That doesn't mean that
Or
you-
teach people something or entertain people in
Yeah.
some way. Yeah.
like 13-year-olds today, even, you know, they're obviously younger than us, but like the kids are growing up fast and
Oh,
they're
yeah.
learning things and
they're
they're
smart.
They're understanding things and process. They're growing up in the digital age.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know. I believe that you can learn from anybody. Younger, older. There's always somebody that can teach you something.
Danian Bright is the next channel. They upload when they have time, been on YouTube for 1 year or more. They do
But I'll say
lifestyle, Gen X advice, and lived experience. The goal of the channel is to be a full-time content creator. And the question is, all my people advise on niching down, focus, and a quick overall review of my last 4 or 5 thumbnails. All my people advice on niching down, focus, and... Okay, so let's pull it up. What were you going to say, D?
I was just going to say, the only thing I don't listen to, sometimes there's some really young creators that try to give life advice.
Oh yeah, some of this, yeah.
It's like, dude, you're like a senior in high school.
Right.
Tell me about your life advice.
Yeah. Yeah, good for juniors in high school.
Yeah,
Freshmen in high school, right? For those people, it's probably great stuff, though.
Yeah.
All right, so, when you first enter high school, this is what's going to happen, right? Like, for them, it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shark Scrapper says, when I tell younger folks I have 16,000 subscribers, they're dumbfounded, like I'm too old.
Yeah.
Love it. Love
yes,
it. Love it.
yes, Queen Me. There's an audience for everyone.
Yep.
But
you have to intentionally, go after them. So
Yeah.
you can publish content based around the things that you care about, and and everything can align. But when you are, just being intentional about, okay, this is the type of thing I'm trying to do. This is what I'm trying to get known for. This is what I'm trying to do big picture wise, with my YouTube channel. These are the types of people that I'm trying to connect with through my channel. And you're intentionally making moves to, to move in a certain direction. That's where things can really start changing. But yeah, there's absolutely an audience for everybody.
But I also believe there's a point where you can niche down too much.
Yeah.
For example,
where you have a super small audience, but they're there, but they're small.
Yeah, I'm going to spitball this as we go. Let's say you have an antique channel, right? You're finding antiques, handcrafted antiques. That's probably going to appeal to a pretty large audience. But then if you niche that down further and say, I collect antique boxes, okay, you niche down a little bit more. Okay, I collect antique boxes from the 1900s that it's made out of teak wood, right? And like every video is about that. Like you just keep niching yourself down, and you can get so niche down, but that's very specific. So the other side of that is, even though you might not get a lot of views, the people that are into that, like those are your people. So, it's a trade-off there.
Yep.
But that being said, like teak boxes from the 1900s are pretty dope.
So let's take a look at what you're doing here on the channel. So it looks like you are doing life advice here. Almost 60 done. Gen X is done with people. Here's why. I screwed up her birthday. Bonehead edition. We're Gen X. How I almost ruined my wife's special day. ADHD story. Yeah. So with these, you are sharing your stories of your life, and all of that is perfectly fine. Psychology of Gen X. Latchkey Kids. 3 superpowers. Yeah, when it comes to how you're packaging these things up, though, these videos up, I would definitely just try to think through the lens of, like if YouTube is recommending this to somebody in their homepage, like what about this would make somebody be like, oh yeah, I need to check this video out. Like with this, you're being informative in terms of like, this is the type of conversation that we're having. Oops. You're being informative about like, this is the type of conversation that we're having, but this is easy to skip over, right? Because there's nothing about this that's like, oh, I need to, check this out. I think this one is more compelling than this one in terms of the title, because it just leaves it open. So it's like Gen X is done with people. Here's why. So with this, you're basically suggesting that, Gen X is tired of dealing with people, and you're going to explain, why in the video. So people that care about that will be like, oh yeah, I wonder what his opinion is on that. Then they'll, go and check that out. But I think like, this one is definitely more compelling than this one over here. We'll see, how it goes. But yeah, I could skip over like a lot of these. Yeah, I'm sure you'll probably get some people that'll click on this one just to argue with you in one way or the other. But when it comes to the regular content that you're doing, yeah, Psychology of Gen X. And then up here, you also have Psychology of Gen X. Latch kid traits that are exhausting. Yeah, like I'm not sure if you're trying to educate other people about Gen X here, or if you're trying to just connect with Gen Xers. I'm not really sure through the topics that you're talking about. Like with this right here,
yeah, who are you making the videos for?
Yeah, I'm just not sure. Like, I mean, I think that you're making them for Gen Xers, but like, I'm just not sure in terms of like the Psychology of Gen X, latchkey kids, traits that are exhausting. Yeah, I'm not really sure. Just from like like if this shows up on a homepage and you're competing with everything else that YouTube thinks is a good fit for that viewer, how is this gonna stand out and pull people in, right? Yeah, I think you're missing just the compelling side of what it is that you're offering. Again, I think this one, is a little bit better title-wise, not super not a big fan of the thumbnail, but title wise, just how this one's framed, I think that one is better. Let's see what else you got going on. Out of sync with the U.S. Canadians react permanent daylight savings time. Yeah, it also looks like you're kind of switching stuff up a little bit. So this is about daylight savings time.
I just want to give a note here in the thumbnails. And this is a creative choice, but a lot of your thumbnails where you have the warm lighting behind you, which gives you that kind of ambient yellow look, and you have the warm ambient text, and you have the warm ambient skin, and there's no real contrast between any of that. And visually, that's the sort of thing that it's a stylistic choice. There's nothing wrong with it, but it also doesn't necessarily stand out.
Right.
It might, depending on what's around it. But you can look at some of these others that you have that don't have that warm ambient look, and to me, they're more appealing visually.
So there's also another side of this. So like here, like what you're doing here, and you're putting Gen X, Gen X, Gen X, Gen X, and everything. Like that's okay. Like what you're doing there is you're basically that's called an audience identifier, where you're basically calling them out in the title. And you're basically letting, Gen Xers know that this is for them or about them in some way. So, I think that's okay, but I think that you could do this in a better way. And that better way is just talking about and framing everything in this way too. But, framing, because the conversations that you're having are things that Gen Xers, would relate to. But basically framing it around the conversation more so than framing it around the Gen Xers, but just making sure that you're talking about things that Gen Xers would care about. I would lean more into that versus trying to put Gen X into everything it is that you're doing. Because, for example, Gen Xer goes to Costco, steals a cart, finds hope. It's a lot. This is another one to where there's not really, it's not clear from the outside, what I'm even going to get from this. So, and this is, on YouTube, you want that clarity to happen at a glance. You either want clarity, this is exactly what you're getting, or here's some type of curiosity gap that I've opened, or some type of curiosity that I'm tapping into that you're going to have to click on this video to satisfy, right? So one of those two things. But when we have this one right here, we're not really getting any of that, right? So this is, talking about a Gen Xer going to Costco and maybe stealing a cart and, finds hope, those types of things. But I just don't know what, I wouldn't click on this because I don't know what's, I don't know anything about it, right? I'm not getting any real information here outside of the fact that you're going to Costco and stealing a cart. But in terms of a viewer, what does that mean to the viewer, and how does that help the viewer with anything? Yeah. So yeah, for something like this, yeah, I think that you're targeting Gen X, which is what's pretty clear here now. So you're targeting Gen X, but you are, I think, going a little bit hard on the Gen X here in all of your titles. And I think that if you just talk about things that Gen Xers care about, that you don't have to, go this far, with putting Gen X in everything. In some cases, Gen Xers, are done with people. Here's why. Those types of things, I think it's a little bit more appropriate. But trying to shoehorn Gen X into, everything, I just don't think it's necessary. As long as you're talking about things Gen Xers care about, then that's all that matters, right? Because then they'll find the content that way and respond to the content that way. And like Dee mentioned about, the thumbnails not really standing out. This is another one to where I like how you open the curiosity gap here. And this lets me know that you are, talking about, Gen Xers not really caring that much. But when it comes to the thumbnail, which is going to be the thing that's going to grab somebody's attention, the almost 60 might do it. I would remove the done. I would put almost 60 years old if that's the thing that you're, leaning on here. And then for the thumbnail for this one, because I'm not exactly sure what's going on in the video, I think you might be okay with this, imagery in here, but I'm not sure. But, maybe making you bigger over here and putting that text over here, something like that, so that they can at least connect with you in this, and then you have the text on the other side. But yeah, I think from a packaging standpoint, I would spend the most time right now working on this and trying to think from, topically, okay, I need to make sure I'm talking about things that Gen Xers care about. And then when it comes to packaging these up, I need to be asking myself, if this were to show up on YouTube's homepage on a phone, TV, computer, whatever, if this were to show up on a YouTube homepage for anyone, and YouTube's recommending it to them for the people that I'm trying to reach, how does this speak to them, and how, like, what exactly about my thumbnail is going to help that person identify that this content is something that might matter to them, right? So this is another one to where you're kind of shoehorning the Gen X in here, but really the video is about how you screwed up her birthday. So the Gen X conversation here as a part of the title, like that part, you know, isn't really relevant to this if it's about her, you know, birthday. So it's like you're almost talking, or you're presenting this as like two different topics here. So like in your case, I would definitely work on, you know, the packaging for this. So you can get, you know, either that clarity or, you know, the curiosity, one of the two. Those would be the main things I would work on right now with your channel. But you've only been going, you know, because it looks like you started you know, last year, and then, you know, you just started going again. So you know, you've only published, you know, a handful of videos, 20 videos here. So you know, you're just getting started, and this is all part of the process. So you know, hang in there. But yeah, I think your packaging definitely needs a lot of work, and the ideas themselves for the videos too.
Next.
And on that note, I do want to remind you, if you are, so actually there's a few different things that I want to say here. So first is we do have a school that we started for YouTubers. We are accepting applications on that now. So if you are interested in that, you can go to tuberschool.com and you'll find information on that, or you can scan the QR code here if you're on a TV, or if you just want to scan it because it's easier for you, you can do that there. But I also want to just remind you, if you are getting started with all of this, or if you've kind of hit a wall when it comes to your channel, I do want to remind you that when it comes to YouTube, it's a learning curve, just like anything else that you're going to do. You know, I say this a lot at the end of the live streams because I think it's important for people to, you know, to know, is that, you know, when it comes to YouTube, you know, it's similar to playing an instrument or starting a new job, starting a new hobby. You know, when you start something new, whatever it is, there's just a lot of stuff involved. And sometimes, you know, you can pick something up if it's simple, but when things are complicated, it takes you a long time. Like playing a guitar, for example, there's a lot involved. And to get good at playing a guitar, you got to spend a ton of time on the guitar. Yeah. So, you know, YouTube is similar in terms of there's a lot of moving parts when it comes to YouTube. So right now, if you're struggling, things aren't going the way that you want them to go on your channel, hang in there and focus on your skill sets, right? The skill sets in terms of learning how to come up with good ideas, learning how to package your videos up, learning how to, you know, make videos that people keep watching and that they get satisfied from watching, that they want to share with others and that sort of thing. Like focus on those things, and those will move the needle for you more than a quick tip, right? Just learning how to, you know, serve your audience in that way. So hang in there. You got this, D.
Great stream.
Great stream.
Great questions today.
Yeah, really good questions today. Everybody have a great rest of your weekend. Make sure that you do check out our sponsor of today's stream, Opus Clip. You can find that information right here. And also, Daryl Leaves is streaming right after this stream. He's streaming like right now. I think he should be starting now. So as soon as this stream is complete, it's going to send you over to his stream. Daryl Eves works with some of the biggest content creators on YouTube. Shares just a ton of information about YouTube. So if you are taking all this stuff seriously, I really recommend that you also participate in that stream, even if you listen in the background, because he shares just tons and tons of great information during his live streams as well. But as soon as I hit to end this stream, it's going to send you over to there. So make sure that you check that out as well. But everybody have a great rest of your weekend.
Yep.
And we'll see you next time.
Especially pirates.
And pirates. Yeah, if you're a pirate, yep. Have an even better weekend than everybody else.
That's right.
Yeah.
Hope you find some gold this weekend.
Yeah, I hope you find some gold. Yep. Some treasure.